Okay, welcome back. I know it's been a minute. I'm sure you have been missing the nut bar and our scorching takes on all of the seasonal anime. Unfortunately, I had to move across the country, and that makes editing and recording a little difficult, so we were not able to get a mid-season episode out. We may end up releasing some version of it later because it's kind of a novelty. You'll see later. I don't know. If we had a Patreon, that's where I would put it, but we're not there yet in our careers. Is this the one where we introduce ourselves? I can't remember.
This is the one where we introduce ourselves.
Then let's go down the line just in case you forgot us all.
Yeah, just in case. Hey, my name's Juan. I go by Tex-Mex. I like giving shows a fair shot. I watch a lot of everything. Well, we've done this song and dance before.
Of course. I'm Chris. I don't really feel like I need to qualify my anime opinions. I have lots of them. You can see my Mal page.
See me in Mal.
Check my Mal.
All right, I'm Logan. I am the podcast manga correspondent in the sense that in these pre-shows I go through and I read at least the first chapter of every manga that's getting an anime adaptation, so I have some informed opinion on those, and you're going to be hearing my voice a lot this episode.
And hi, I'm Tim. I watch the anime. That's it.
That's it? Yeah,
He does.
it.
Actually accurate. Okay, so we have a new season coming out. It's the summer season, and we are going to start off the top with sequels. We tend to spend a little bit less time on these because we really want to focus on the new stuff coming out, but there's some big notable ones, so we're going to start here. So first up is Oshi no Ko Season 2. This one made a pretty big splash when it premiered last year and was a pretty great season of anime, and I know a lot of the manga fans are really excited for this arc. I have not read the manga, but I am excited to watch more. I liked the
At the time of the recording, I think it's like the manga is entering its final arc or something.
It's final arc, but final arc could mean like
100 chapters.
It could mean like 100 chapters. Yeah, it doesn't mean like it's going to end anytime soon.
Yeah,
just
I think we have a good chunk, and also where we are in the anime is way behind that anyway. So who cares?
Yeah, but I mean it's still cool to know.
Yeah, excited. I don't know if we have any more to say on Oshi no Ko.
I mean, Oshi no Ko is literally
it's probably the most popular show this season. Like,
yeah.
It's hands down is no competition.
Well, there's definitely some competition.
No.
We'll
The next closest is Fairy Tail.
Which
like
speaking of, nice segue. There's more Fairy Tail. Is this a sequel to a reboot?
Is a sequel.
Yeah, a sequel to the reboot. I don't watch Fairy Tail. I don't know if anyone.
Yeah, we're not the Fairy Tail guys here.
If you're into Fairy Tail, it's back. There you go.
What reboot?
I thought they restarted it a couple years ago.
Maybe. No, they just took like a 3-year break and then continued it.
On a very different note, dude, when did season 1 of this come out? We have Tower of God. This is Return of the Prince.
16, 17?
It's been a while since the first season of this. This was extremely high.
It was 2020.
The first like real webtoon.
Mm-hmm.
The first, yeah, that tracks. The first real webtoon adaptation of the series of Crunchyroll webtoon adaptations, and this was really mid, and I didn't like season 1 very much, and I'm not gonna watch season 2. That's my takeaway.
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure I dropped it like episode 6, and then that caused everyone else to drop it.
This is like supposedly when the webtoon gets good.
I just don't trust webtoon fans anymore. They keep saying things are good, and then they're not.
Don't tell that to your wife.
Well, she reads the ones she reads are way more obscure and would never get adaptations.
Okay, fair.
The next one up is actually a classic romance, Kimi no Todoke Season 3. I have not, unfortunately, seen any of this, but I know people are big fans, so I'm excited for everyone. This one is like kind of a classic at this point.
I might binge the show before season 3 comes out so I could watch it.
Yeah, I don't know. Tim, have you seen this, or you don't watch it?
I've seen it. It was fine. It was all right.
Yeah,
I mean, I've heard it's like one of the best like rom-coms
than anything.
No, it's. I've heard it's a little.
Is it just more romance?
I've heard it's a little overrated, but
okay.
I'm still happy that it's getting more because I know some people really like it.
I mean, it took like a 10-year break, right?
Yeah, it was
over 10 years.
Yeah,
it was like 13.
Yeah, 2013.
Oh my god!
So it was more surprising than anything that it actually just got announced.
Yeah, for sure.
Season 3 won.
Exactly. Speaking of some long hiatuses, fucking Monogatari is back. Holy shit! It's been a long time. What was the last one? I mean, like obviously, like Owari season 2 was the last proper. The movie was the last proper one. No, maybe that was it.
Owari means the end, right? So,
Zoku
like,
Owari. I think
Monogatari
Zoku
was
Owari is the
done.
most recent.
Yeah, Zoku was the last recent back in like
well, the thing is that
2019.
wasn't actually the end of the books, and so there's more to adapt, and they're adapting more. I am, despite being a huge Monogatari fan, don't tell my friend Ethan, woefully behind on the anime. I am nowhere near caught up. I haven't even seen Owari yet. I am still very excited that Shaft is actually back making Monogatari. That's just huge. They haven't done it in a while. Is Shinbo on that shit? Shinbo is on that shit.
He's
yes.
on it.
Yes, sir.
I mean, it's a baby, so like, might
It's
as well.
been a while since he's made something too, so I like that's just a big deal on its own. Anyway, if you haven't watched Monogatari, it's hard to recommend Monogatari. It's a legend in the scene. You're probably aware
It's
of
definitely
it.
a lot to like
It's still one of my
take in
favorites.
at first.
Watch
It's-
the movie remakes that are coming out soon or whatever. I don't know.
Of Kizu?
Yeah,
Do not start with Kizu.
no. You should watch Bake if you're gonna
You,
start.
you start with Bake.
Anyway, we do not need to get into the Monogatari timeline.
This is not an easy show to recommend. This
It
this
is.
is not a
It-
beginner
it's
level
not
show.
for
This is
everyone.
like
It's like a level 5 weeb show.
this
But
is
it's-
like after you've watched like 50 anime shows, then
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
can maybe
Then dip your
into
toes.
this.
Anyway. Next up is this fucking impossible to pronounce, looks like a Microsoft Windows update name for Nier Automata Season 2 or Part 2 or whatever. I didn't even realize Part 1 had finished because I thought it went into production hell, but you know, I'm sure people are watching this if they cared about this adaptation. I
Maybe
didn't
it is
even
Part 2
hear, I
of
didn't
Season
even
1.
hear if it was good or not because it kind of didn't finish for a long time.
Yeah.
I don't really think any of us play the game or are watching this, but you know, there you
No.
go. Here we go.
Have you played
Fucking
the game.
time for some real heat.
Yeah.
After a core break,
Yeah.
Sengouku Youko is back, and I'm pretty sure all of us are pretty excited about this one. The
Oh, yeah.
first season was a great adaptation. I was just gonna say, also after ending on quite a cliffhanger and a pretty significant indication that the show is changing significantly as well. So I'm excited to
Yeah.
see where it's gonna pick
I
up.
was going to ask Logan, is any of the main cast still the main cast, or is it like a completely new cast now?
Shinsuke is still a part of the main
Like I know
cast,
all the
and
characters are still in there.
yeah,
but,
and all
like,
the characters are still around, but
it's like
Jinka
Yoko
is currently indisposed, and
Yeah.
Tama is off somewhere.
Okay.
And and
What?
Shaku is around.
and Shinsuke's
still around.
like
Shinsuke
around.
does stick around.
We're excited for this one. I'm sure a lot of people missed this because it was kind of low key, but if you haven't checked out season 1, go check it out. It was great. All right, and last but not least, Shy season 2. This was fun. I like season 1 a decent amount. I think it had some production issues and some pacing issues, but overall, I liked what it was trying to do enough that I am probably going to check out season 2. I don't know if that is the same for my co-cast members, but you know.
I see the potential in this show. So like I want to give season 2 a
Yeah,
shot.
there is enough cool stuff
give
that
Shy
it's
some
trying
more
to
time.
do that I would like to give it another shot. So that's kind of where we're at. This could make or break it. Maybe we all drop it, but who knows? We're gonna check it out.
Yeah. Well, we'll see from season 2.
We're not watching that one. Okay, Logan, get us started with your first pre-read manga for our new show.
All right. Very excited. Nitengo Jigen no Ririsa, I think is how you pronounce that. That's 2.5 dimensional seduction in English. Vagina. I have now opened this review. I have now opened this review in the exact same way as the manga opened itself. And to a certain extent, you have to admire a statement of intent that firm. Like, I don't know who this woman is, who she's talking to, or why she's lifting her skirt, but I know she's wearing white panties with garter belts. But what else is in this manga? Well, it's a tale as old as time. Main character guy is insanely uptight about something. In this case, his love for his pure waifu and his distaste for 3D women. And main character girl has absolutely no concept of boundaries. In this case, asking a classmate she's known for 10 minutes to be the cameraman for the amateur cosplay softcore porno photo shoot and then stripping in front of him. I think the thing I hate the most about this, and there's a lot that I don't like about it for sure. This is not a thing for me. Is the main character's whole 3D PD thing. Like, all it really means is that he's going to spend the entire manga bristling against the premise of the manga, which is him joining in on these photo shoots of this girl cosplaying as his waifu. He's going to be like, oh no, but I don't like 3D girls. I'm only interested in my waifu. It's going to get very annoying very quickly. And it doesn't even really inform the premise very much because there's like, it's there to make him uncomfortable, but there's like a million reasons that he could be uncomfortable about this that wouldn't be,
one that
annoying.
Is completely fucking stupid and makes no sense if you think about it in reality. It's like, oh no, a hot girl is paying attention to me. Like, whatever, fucking kill yourself, pussy. Anyway, I also think the insistence on this fucking 4chan trope from like 2013 pervading somehow into current era is pretty wild. My main problem with this show is that it is literally Dress Up Darling, except with worse characters that are more annoying. Why would anyone watch this show? We did this already.
Chris,
Yeah.
I'll give you one reason to watch the show. Teacher cosplayer.
That okay, that was not a reason. It's the same show. It's the same show.
It is literally the only reason why I want to even give this a shot, just for the teacher. But it is too core, and that turns me off. I'm like, I really don't want to be in the long haul for this, because otherwise it is just exactly Dress Up Darling, except minus the romance. Because the romance was actually a great part of Dress Up Darling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now it's just like a harem, and I'm like, eh.
It's just like I said, it's just trashier. It's more ecchi, which is fine if you're into that. But it just felt a little, and also hornier. And like Dress Up Darling was already pushing the boundary of like what I would consider to be semi-tasteful, but like raunchy. But the thing about Dress Up Darling is like the sexual tension was actually like good and developed, and you believed that maybe the two characters would kiss and fuck at some point canonically. Whereas I have my doubts that will happen in this at all, because the main character hates 3D women.
No,
so
it's not happening.
I'm pretty sure. I don't know. Is the ecchi bros going to watch this shit? Because this seems.
Would you give it one episode, Juan?
I'm giving it an episode.
Okay, we'll give you one episode. I don't think. I think 2 cores is a little much for us.
Yeah, that's the thing. The teacher's probably not going to show up in that first episode. Well,
I think we should do our job and do one episode for the podcast.
Yeah. Content, baby.
It feels like a waste of time. I just wish it wasn't so similar to a very popular show that already happened. You know what I mean? Anyway, next up.
All right. Atri, My Dear Moments. This is so very clearly sad bait.
Yeah.
Okay, so the synopsis is it's like a world where the ocean level suddenly rises and a robot girl is discovered at the bottom of the ocean, and the girl looks and acts exactly like a human. So I don't know why she's a robot. I'm sure they'll explain it in the show, but why be a robot at that point if she looks and acts like a human?
I don't think you could have found a normal girl at the bottom of the ocean.
Says you.
Maybe.
I mean, we've seen this kind of story before. It's pretty much a trope at this point, and as much as it is a trope and that we've seen this kind of shit before, I'm a fucking sucker for them.
I think there's enough to this premise to justify watching it. For it's a Studio Troika show. It's I believe it's an original. No, it's a VN. It's an adaptation.
Yeah, it's a visual novel adaptation, which can be hit or miss.
Yeah, for sure.
You're adapting from something. You're adapting a game that has multiple different routes, multiple different options.
You just pick the saddest ending route and go with that.
Exactly.
That's what Kleina did.
Yeah.
This is clearly. I don't know if can anyone fact? Is this a key? I don't think it's a key.
This is not a key.
Okay, yeah.
Well, it
definitely
very
is. It definitely is borrowing from that. But I think, like I said, I like Studio Troika. The visuals on the trailer look really nice, and so I am at least willing to check it out. Because it's not key, because Ginmai is not working on it, then actually maybe it won't be complete shit. So
I don't understand how man has a track record of one good story, and then everything else is.
I think arguably he has a couple of good stories, but definitely earlier in his career. Anyway, not to get too sidetracked. Like I said, this is enough. Maybe this is just gonna be sad robot girl and like I don't know, plastic memories type shit. It's hard to tell right now, but
The synopsis really threw me off when it said that the robot girl will become his leg.
Yeah, that's the other thing. The main character, I think, is missing a leg, is a paraplegic or something. So, I don't know. There is enough going on here to distinguish itself, and it looks nice, and that is usually the two. And also, it's made by a studio that I like, and that's enough to get me to check out episode 1.
Well, I mean, Studio Troika made I'll Know a Zero, and like I could never forgive him for that.
Yeah, but Although Zero is not the only show that they've made, and it like was also looks good and has nice production.
I mean, that's the thing about Studio Troika is that they have good production.
So. Is it just Recreator
and I'll Know a Zero?
Implement to You?
Implement to You, yeah.
Is that what Chris is going off of?
Yeah.
Because they have a pretty other rough track record.
Sure.
Otherwise.
I'm just saying that they have the potential to be fine. So, I am vaguely interested in this. I will check it out.
Yeah, I'm still interested in this. I'm probably giving this like the good old 3-episode rule.
The staff for this looks pretty good, so I'm kind of excited for it.
Yeah.
It's the director of Bloom Into You.
That was one of the reasons I was interested.
Guy for Ghost Bank Cry, HBK, the Soul Yori, and they have a lot of good
it's an
stuff.
adaptation, right? So like I don't know, it'll depend on the source material, but hopefully,
as long as they don't shove the sadness down your throat like they did with Classic
we're
Memories,
making some assumptions about how sad it will be, but I don't know. Vibes are
a visual novel.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's a visual novel. Okay.
It's called My Dear Moments. Like,
yeah.
And it's about a robot girl. I'm 100% sure it's gonna be sad.
I didn't realize this was like this. Thanks to the alphabet. Speaking of robot women, Logan.
Yeah.
Hey. That's a great segue into Boku no Suma wa Kanjou Ganai, which I think is My Wife Has No Emotions or something to that effect. Right. People will say this is comfy because they have never experienced comfort in their lives. This is like as comfy as a slab of cold steel. So the premise here basically is sort of a mashup of like the beleaguered salaryman gets a non-human housewife genre, exemplified by stuff like the helpful fox Senko-san, with the cold emotionless robot learns to feel feelings genre, exemplified by
literally
everything
Chobits
ever
also
written about robots. Also literally Chobits, apparently. I didn't watch that one.
That's really old, but anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But those two seem like they should be a natural fit, since non-human housewife is kind of a synonym for kitchen appliance. But they actually don't work together. Look, that came out more sexist than I meant it to.
I get what
you know what I mean.
Yeah. That's really funny.
It came out exactly as sexist as you meant it, Logan.
Anyway, the robot girl, because she doesn't understand feelings, she's not just non-human, she's inhuman. She kind of, she has to be told to keep her eyes closed at night so the light doesn't blind main character guy, and then she has to be told she can open them again in the morning because that's not a problem. She's on that level of understanding of how to interface with main character guy. And that just does not feel comfortable at all. And with the comfy stuff non-functional, all that leaves is the robot learning feelings thing, which again you can get in basically anything with the word robot in the synopsis. One thing I will say about the anime compared to the manga, I don't love the character designs in the anime, but the character design of the robot girl is significantly less alien in the anime. She looks like a gray in the manga, and it's cool. Very disorienting, and I think that this is at least a little bit better in terms of maybe giving you kind of a
she's kind of cute in the anime.
Yeah, exactly, giving you a comforting feeling, but I still don't think that this is good enough. I can't recommend it.
I think that it is so funny that this is being made by Tezuka Productions, and so because that is happening, I am going to headcanon that this takes place in the Pluto universe when they're kind of figuring out the whole human AI thing, kind of maybe 50 years before Pluto takes place, because it's funny to think about it that way. I am hesitant to watch this because I don't think it looks particularly great as far as the premise is concerned, and the trailer is hideous. It looks really bad. Really low budget, off model, just not good. Also, I can't believe this guy bought a girlfriend.
It's like you can rent a girlfriend.
Oh my god.
Anyway, this is why we don't start the section with haters because
it looks bad. I'm not saying that the show could be fine. I could be convinced to watch this if it's cute and endearing. I'm telling you that the trailer was ugly.
I'm a robot fucker. Like robots becoming human like is like my favorite genre of stories. So this is absolutely like right up my alley. I am giving this a watch. Like, yeah, the trailer is like not the best, but like I just know the story is gonna be cute and wholesome. Tim, you got any input?
I think it's gonna be on the more wholesome side. I agree with Juan. I agree, it kind of looks a little rough, but it's also because it's Tezuka, and Tezuka isn't
The best.
Really
Tezuka's got like their own
quality.
like unique art style, and like I think it'll just take some time to like get used to it.
No,
I
I
think
just think it's low budget. But
I
that's
think
okay.
it's fine. Like it's not. I mean, it's
not
a
the type of show that
romance
needs.
It
Yeah,
doesn't
it doesn't
need.
need.
Yeah, like I say, it doesn't need.
Sakuga.
Sakuga, so it's fine.
Yeah.
I'll probably get a couple episodes and see like if
Yeah.
it is like the.
I could be convinced to check out episode 1 of this, but I would say as far as I'm a little worried that it's going to be the writing is going to be a little. I don't know. We'll see.
Well, quick shout out. Toki Nasora of Hollow Life fame is doing the OP for this show.
Yeah.
Which
Oh,
is
wow.
really cool.
She is the second Hololive member doing an opening this season.
Yeah, which is crazy.
That is actually kind of
it's-
wild. They're on the come up.
Yeah, they're bringing the mainstream.
Okay. Moving on to I think I'm doing this one. Bye Bye Earth. So I think unfortunately a part of watching anime for a long time is that you grow up and your tastes change, and I think that I have sort of aged out of this entire genre to some extent. And so while this might be fine, I am maybe not the target audience anymore. Let me explain a little bit about this. This is a world, it's a fantasy world full of anthropomorphic animal people who are really just people with animal ears. It's not really even approached. The anthropomorphism scale is a little low.
it's like the anime.
Yeah.
Anime furry.
So this character is a human, regular human, and so therefore she is discriminated against, obviously. But from what I can tell, then she gets involved in the main narrative in some way and becomes an adventurer, and it's this action-adventure thing in the furry setting. But I don't know, it just looks like a very, very generic power fantasy type show that has clumsy fantasy racism mixed in, and I don't know. The trailer did not particularly enthrall me. So
Chris, it is a badass girl with a huge sword as big as her.
I mean, sure.
Ain't that cool as shit?
That could be cool as shit. I'm worried that I won't care about her at all.
She's voiced by Ifaro. You can just pretend it's power.
That's cool. I will say, I'm looking at this light novel cover, and the art is really good. I'll give him that.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Let me see.
But also, they don't... anyway.
But Chris, you know what else was in the trailer?
What?
Kevin Penkin is doing the OST for the show.
Damn. And as we all know, Kevin definitely only works on good shows.
Listen, man, yeah,
That's a good. I mean, like, it's light in films. The trailer didn't look awful for any means. I don't know. Maybe if people tell me that this is fire, I can come check it out. But I'm not particularly interested.
I'm a Kevin Penkin stan. I want to give this episode a shot. I want to give it one. Like, I really wish Kevin Penkin worked on better shows instead of just agreeing to anything he's offered. Because man, I really want more shows of the quality of Made in Abyss. Because like, at this point, Made in Abyss is an exception instead of like, a trend.
He did.
Like the only other good show he did was the Star Wars Visions.
He did the Apothecary. He worked on Apothecary Diaries.
Well,
But,
he
like,
did.
I don't think it was like his
Apothecary.
OST.
Yeah,
he
was a
submitted some
collaborator
tracks.
on it. Yeah, his
Yeah.
tracks were very good, but
I actually didn't like his track as much as the other people's,
fair.
but he did the Spice and Wolf, and he did. Guess Tower of God had decent OST.
That one has a good OST. I just don't like the show very much.
Yeah.
Anyway, how about you check in and let us know? Does anyone else have any thoughts on this before we move on? I don't really have much else to say about it.
Nah.
It's the fantasy racism thing. Shows that do that do not typically do it very well, and so that kind of makes me be like, I don't know.
I do think it's funny that like you also mentioned that like, oh, if I was younger, like I think I would be into this because like I also wrote that in my notes.
That's so funny. I'm telling you, if it was 14, it would go hard.
Yeah.
I'm a little sus of shows produced by Crunchyroll. So.
Oh, is this one of those?
It's not a Crunchyroll original, but it's like
It's
they
produced
like
by
help
them.
produced it. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm with you. Some of those have been a little stinky. Okay, I think I'm also doing the next one. This is Delico's Nursery. From what I can tell, this is a hot, sexy, bishy vampire society show where all the main casts are hot, sexy, bishy vampire boys. And one of them, I don't know if is runs an orphanage or a child service, but he seems to be raising children in some way. So this really is like just very targeted for what I think some women want in a man, which is a hot, sexy Bishonen vampire who is also caring and like child caring, specifically good at raising kids.
Did you watch all the PVs?
I watched one of them. Yeah.
Okay, so you didn't see the beginning PVs then. The beginning PVs are wild. It turns into like a wildly different show. So like the first PV, like it starts with like this like really cool narrative of like in the world where vampires and humans share the world, and like vampires are now mortals. The vampires are slowly dying out, and there's a human serial killer killing all these vampires, and they're trying to figure out who it is, and they're called Trump. I'm like, what?
Yeah, I did see that. I did see the Trump thing.
And then like the more recent PVs are like, oh, this show is actually like these bishy vampires raising the last vampires that are the vampire kids, so we gotta raise them so that way they can live and continue our race.
Right.
So like I guess that intrigue is still there, like in the background, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. This show looks fine, but I just am clearly not the target audience for this show, and
No.
I'm not. I don't know. I don't know how much the drama. I feel like it's just going to be the vampire boys like arguing with each other and hijinks ensue with the kids, and then that's going to be and you want to see them kiss because they're all sexy and pretty, and that like I get it. That's fine. But I feel like I am maybe not the target audience for this show.
It also got delayed until August, so
wow.
lose traction because of that.
Yeah, it's JC staff. I don't know. It's hard to muster enthusiasm. This is someone's shit, and I'm very excited for that person.
Yeah.
Next up is Dungeon no Naka no Hito.
Dungeon no Naka no Hito. So this was something. I couldn't find this, and I basically just read it like an hour ago before recording. So my thoughts aren't as fully formed as some of the other manga are. But this one's kind of weird because it starts off with the premise, like in the beginning of the first chapter, that this girl is going into the dungeon. There is a dungeon. To find her father who disappeared down in the dungeon not too long ago or whatever. And then she learns that the dungeon is like a construct, that it's like, something built by somebody for reasons that, as of chapter 2, were completely unspecified, and like maintained by people. And then she just kind of forgets about her father entirely. Like, he didn't come up at all in chapter 2, and I don't know what that's about. It felt kind of confused as to what it wanted to be, because it opens on like a really good like pair of fights that I both liked a lot, and then she gets hired by the dungeon people to become one of the dungeon people, and then it's like it kind of implies that they're not really going to be doing much fighting anymore, and it's like, why did it open with a big fight, and why did it open with a really good fight, and then like dump into a show that isn't going to have a whole lot of fighting into it?
I assume tonal whiplash is the reason for that. That's what I got from the trailer, at least. Like, as
that may
it was
be
kind
what
of a
they
bit.
were going for, but the problem is that I like the fights way more than I like the like kind of middling comedy that came after the fights. So I just kind of left this disappointed. I will say the art style, looking at the poster, it looks nicer in color than it does in black and white, just because in black and white it looks kind of drab because there's not a whole lot of background or anything, but it actually looks pretty nice in full color, and I like the kind of pastel look to it. But I still don't think that I'm going to be picking this up.
From what I gathered from the PV, it's just like, what if fantasy dungeons were like a haunted house? Like it's like a job, you know.
That's-
Well, I don't.
I mean, it's just about the dungeon master like figuring it out and setting up all
but like,
the...
it's like really cute though.
It is. It's very cute and wholesome. It's kind of a workplace comedy vibe, I think.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, like, you know, Dungeon Mesh will be over. Maybe this will help fill some sort of that hole in my heart at the time.
But there's no cooking.
I would
No.
say like Dungeon Meshi, I appreciate them taking this very like common, like people just assume like dungeon is just, you know, you just go in dungeon, it magically does other things, and kind of giving thought and care into like how it actually would actually function. So I think it's kind of a comfy, kind of unique take on, you know, this very overused show, and I think like the action kind of does pop off a little bit in the PV, just like in the manga. So I think it's gonna.
I do think it's really funny that she's slaughtering these creatures, and then it looks like she's going to have to work with them directly in the dungeon. And I'm curious to see how that is
Sure, the
resolved.
fun. I'm probably
I'm
like,
not
just
gonna be like, oh, no
thirsty
hard
for
feelings.
memes.
Like,
Yeah, no hard
it's
feelings.
my
Yeah.
job. It's my job to be killed.
Yeah, exactly.
Just another Tuesday.
But
That's fine.
I think this is a unique enough premise, and the character designs and animation are cute enough that I am at least interested in checking it out. It's OLM. It looks pretty nice. I was going to give this a shot. That's kind of where I was at with it.
Yeah. Give this an
It
episode.
looks cute.
Oh,
It's so funny
really
that
is
Logan is
a big one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do
You're
we
right,
really
it's a
need
big
Logan to
one.
start it? Should I start it instead?
No.
No, why
Thank
is
you.
your perspective the right one just because you like it and I don't? All right, Elf-san wa Yaserenai, also known as plus size elf. So I like I already said, I don't like this and I'm not the target audience for it, but I do have a strange and possibly controversial statement to make here. I don't think this anime should exist because the only great thing about the manga series is the art. And
Yes.
the art is the one thing that is not actually getting translated directly to the anime. It's not Synecdoche drawing every single frame. And the anime will probably look fine, and it might even look good, but plus size elf minus great art equals 0. So this is gonna have to be like a really good adaptation to justify itself compared to the manga. For anyone curious, if this isn't your fetish, there is nothing for you here. It's not really funny and fetishy are kind of the only two things that it's trying to be. So I can't recommend this in the abstract, but you know who you are.
I have
I do
great
know who I am.
I have
Thank you very
great
much.
news, and by great news I mean terrible news, which is that this is hideous. The trailer looks fucking awful, and I know what the art looks like in the manga just because this manga has been floating around the internet for like a million years at this point. It's kind of a meme slash like if you know, you know. It's pretty popular. This has got to be one of the biggest manga to anime downgrades in art quality I've seen in a while. It is wildly disappointing, and I probably wasn't gonna watch this in the first place because I don't care. It just seems shallow, and I'm like, whatever. You know, I don't need to watch the fetish slash like ecchi comedy type adaptation. I've like seen enough from the art to get what it is out of it. Like cute girl eat fry, haha. But unfortunately, the anime looks kind of hideous, and that's disappointing. Y'all, the Kumers deserve better.
No, Logan's absolutely right. About reading the manga over the anime. Insanely good quality for ecchi.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I appreciate the craftsmanship.
And for you, the people who are into this, I want to shake your hand. I want to have long talks with you. Hit me up in the comments.
It's just, you
I'm
know, I
having
feel
a
like people have been
meet cute
asking
with
for
one of
this
our
adaptation
listeners.
for a long time, and it kind of sucks that it is like this. Feels like an afterthought. Too bad.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have anything
There
else
is-
to say? I don't know.
Apparently, there's like a sequel series, but like it's still just kind of like more of the same. So like I don't know
Why
why.
would they make a sequel?
I think he just wanted to like take a break.
It's not like there's a plot to be solved. You could just put it down and pick it back up a couple of months later if you wanted to.
I don't know.
Anyway, I don't know. Do we have any more thoughts on this? I know this is a big one, but like, what else is there to say? what you see is what you get. Yeah.
This one's me again. So this is Giji Harem. I can't find what it pseudo harem is what they're translating it to. So every season there's a comedy that just fails to make me laugh, and this season there's like 20 of them. But I'm calling out Giji Harem specifically because that is actually a step up from what I was expecting from the title. It's not actually a harem show, and it's not cumbait in the slightest. It's a like pretty low-key web manga rom-com, so it's at least easy to talk about. And by low-key, I do mean boring. The jokes fell flat, and the romance is one of those, like, character can't ever admit their feelings because if they did, the entire comedic premise dies, so that's a dead end, too. The comedic premise, for the record, is that main character girl is a good actor and pretends to play different, like, harem stock characters from main character guy, which means that the jokes are both lame and meta, which is a pretty brutal combination. And you can't even but the girls are cute this one, because there's only one girl so far, and her design kind of has to be as generic as possible to accommodate the hairstyle changes that she's going to use to play the different characters. And while I'm just complaining about this thing, it does bum me out that the difference between default main character girl and any of the characters she plays are just like little hairstyle changes and some pretty trivial expressions. I wish that they had done a little bit more with that. But yeah, I don't really think that there's anything here, and I can't really recommend it.
Yeah, I think this premise fucking sucks. Oh wow, she's pretending to be different harem tropes instead of like her own person. Also, this got to be one of the dumbest motherfuckers of all time. This girl is pretending to be multiple other girls who like him. Wow, I wonder if she likes you, bro. Anyway.
No, but it's just a bit. It's just a bit.
Oh,
bro.
it's just a bit. I'm just pretending
it's
to
just
like
a bro
you.
job.
Anyway, I am not the target audience for this because I'm not like the type of depressed single Japan male that would want to. I don't know. It's that same kind of like wish fulfillment girl show, and they're all not good, and I don't think this one looks good either.
I think the production values are like pretty all right, at least from the PV for this show, and like I'm sure like young me would have loved this, but like
I just think it sounds boring.
I'm not young me, so like, I'm fine missing out on this. Tim, you got any?
He, who we don't talk about, said it was a really cute manga, and that the manga will kind of like the anime will kind of live or die based on how well you like the performance and delivery of the main characters. I guess the girls doing the jokes. So I guess it really just has to like see how well they do it.
It really is up to he who shall not be named style of humor and what they like, well, like 100%. So it makes sense.
It does really feel like.
I think it's gonna depend on Hayami Sori's.
I think it will live or
Wait,
die.
she's one of the best voice actresses out there.
She
right
is,
now, so
and I think you can kind of see what she's doing. I don't know. I still feel like the character, like the different girls she's playing, aren't different enough, at least from the trailer. So I don't know.
Okay, I will say, as much as I really like Hayami, her voice
it's kind of
variation range is not very wide. They all kind of sound more or less kind of the same. So we'll see how well her.
Yeah, she does just kind of sound like her for the most part.
Doing different intonations. Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see how well the performance goes.
I'm not gonna watch this yet. Y'all tell me how it is if you decide to check it out.
I'm sure he will make us watch an episode for Ecchi Bro. So
okay.
What's this duck show here?
Oh God, Christ in heaven! It's this one. Who's doing this one?
Tim has it. He sacrificed himself apparently.
Hey, Chris was like, "Oh, you gave me all the slop," and I was like, "No, I definitely not give you the slop. I took a lot of slop myself."
We're distributing it evenly.
This actually doesn't seem as sloppy. Okay.
Give it to us, Tim.
Our next show is Ginmai Seikatsu, or Days with My Stepsister.
Oh boy.
So, the initial premise of the show seems really trashy. It's essentially like the main protagonist, his parents gets remarried to someone else, and now his new stepsister is the number one beauty of the school. So you can assume that some sloppy romance things going on in this show, but like from watching the PV, it doesn't seem like domestic girlfriend dumpster fire kind of trash. They seem to be like in it a little bit more mature. I don't know. There wasn't much to like point out in the PV or the synopsis because it's just them making like casual talks. It is Studio Dean, which they're doing 2 animes this season. This one and the BL one that we'll talk about later. Dean is not great, but it's a romance show, and it doesn't need a lot of good animation. They haven't done anything good action-wise since like Konosuba, OG Konosuba. But it's fine. They tend to do okay with romance shows.
They dropped season 3 of Konosuba for this.
Probably not how it works.
Back in
but
season 2. They haven't had it in a long time.
Anyway, I think
They did the movie.
I think that this show.
No, it was Drive, wasn't it?
No, the movie was Dean, and then Drive did the explosion one.
Yeah, explosion in season 3.
Okay, this is like Citrus but heterosexual. It's just the classic. Oh man, our parents got married when we're in high school, and now we're stepsisters. But is there romantic tension? This story's been done a million times, and if you want a little stepcest in your anime, then hey, there you go. Take it. It's technically not illegal, but it's probably not chill. So anyway, like it's fine if you want the sort of like taboo romance vibe. It's not my cup of tea, but go for it.
I think it depends on how trashy it's going to be.
That's the thing. It doesn't look very trashy.
It doesn't look trashy. It looks like it's playing it straight.
But like that doesn't mean that it's not fetish bait, which because it is.
I mean, it is definitely fetish bait, but it's how well they do it could actually be like a decent.
Yeah.
I mean, because like from what I can tell from the preview is like it has good production.
And like, it's
such a shame.
It has
Studio Dean is doing this instead of Konosuba season 3.
I don't care. Drive is doing a perfectly fine job with it.
They're doing fine. They're doing
great. I'm loving season 3. Anyways, there's a couple good things about this. Fauna's doing the opening, and she hasn't done it since like.
Wow.
Oh shit, she is. Is that the one you were saying?
One? Yes.
I didn't realize it was that for this show.
Wow.
Also, the original character designer the light novel for this is Hitan, and he's one of my favorite illustrator. So it's been on my radar for a while. They're just an illustrator, like how you have your doujin artist. I have.
Oh, sure, okay.
So I've been actually following this for a while, but I haven't actually gotten onto reading it, so I don't know how bad it is. But I'm definitely going to give this a few episodes just to see where it goes.
If it was like in a spicy dumb drama way, like Domestic Girlfriend, like I'd be down to give this a shot. But like they're just playing this straight. It's just step sibling cest.
Yeah.
It's not trashy enough for you.
No.
It's got to be more garbage.
It's got to be like,
I don't know.
Like
is it going to be that
compelling?
If it's a compelling romance, but even then, I don't know.
Anyway,
I don't think we have a compelling romance this season.
We don't have that many, yeah.
So this might actually be the romance
this season. I remember writing something down, but we'll get there when we get there.
All right.
We'll see.
On a completely different note, moving on.
Sorry. Oh, is this Grendizer?
Yeah.
Yes.
Grendizer.
All right.
Yep.
Okay, cool. So Grendizer U. The manga was pretty cool. I didn't love the fight that it opened on, but I do really like Go Nagai's non-human character designs, and like the way he visually represents exposition is always so cool. Like if everyone was willing to be a little more high scale and abstract with their exposition scenes, I might dread this pre-read a little bit less. And I would totally be looking forward to this anime if it didn't kind of look like ass. Which is the real problem is that, like, even just looking at this poster, all of these characters look like they're made of plastic. It does not look good at
I
all.
wasn't particularly impressed with this trailer. So this is, for context, a spin-off manga based on a different Go Nagai mech, which is Mazinger,
Zinger Z.
Mazinger Z, which is a pretty famous classic mecha manga and anime. And this is a spin-off, which also got a full anime adaptation in the 70s, I think, called UFO Robo Grendizer. So this is sort of a reboot. I don't know. I don't know if I'm quite in the niche mecha sauce enough to check this out. And I think that you probably have to be pretty deep into the niche mecha sauce, like a fan of the original, to be interested in this one. I'm not sure what it's bringing to the table for new fans. I don't know if it's something that you can just kind of step into.
As someone who's like going in blind, who has never seen Mazinger Z or has never like been anywhere in it, like I want to be in the mecha sauce. So like I want to give this a shot, like though like the studio.
This is where you want to start.
Yeah, there's just other like I'm trying to decide why would I waste time on this when I could watch any other mecha classic and instead including the original one. I don't know.
Well, I mean, because like the original one came out in the 70s, like it's old.
Bad.
It doesn't mean it's bad, but like
arguably mechas were better back in the day than they are nowadays.
This is the same studio that did the fucking Has Been Hotel anime we saw 2 seasons ago, and like that was not the best quality.
What the hell are you talking about?
Oh, that one. Okay.
Yeah, the my inside joke. It's Studio Gaina, not Gainax. They're bankrupt now.
Yes.
No, Studio Gaina. Oraka no Tenchi wa Akamatu, whatever.
I am not understanding that joke, but sure.
Because it's about an angel and devil.
Really made very much. Okay.
I've explained the joke multiple times.
Okay, I get it now.
But yeah, I want to give it a shot, but like I totally understand everyone.
I might wait to see if the real fans are like, oh yeah, this is great, you should check this out, and if they're like, this is mid, I probably won't watch it.
The real fans, based on the PVs, have been really hating.
That is the vibe I've got.
The one apparently they like butchered the designs of the characters and the mechas. According to Chris, there's some mecha fanatics who really are looking forward to this. But I don't know.
I think it was maybe what I remember seeing was excitement about the announcement that it was getting a reboot, and perhaps since then they have soured on it. I don't remember specifically. Next up,
we're in the isekai corner, baby.
Yeah, I think we're gonna get a lot of isekais in a row here. This first one is called Hazurewaku no Joutai Ijou Skill de Saikyo ni Natta Ore ga Subete wo Juurin suru made. Or Failure Frame. I became the strongest and annihilated everything with low-level spells. Anyway, this is one of those anime where a classroom of kids gets teleported and the main character doesn't have good powers, and so he gets ostracized by the bullies in his class, but actually his powers are really strong secretly the whole time, and then he gets his revenge. This anime came out last year, and then I think the year before that too. I don't care. We can.
But
move
Chris,
on.
no, he doesn't want revenge against his class. He wants revenge against the goddess.
Yeah, the goddess that put him there. Whatever. Who fucking cares? Why do we need to talk about this? This looks like garbage.
God, no.
Okay. Anyway, next up.
Okay, Isekai Shikaku. This isn't good, but it isn't. It's not slop in the same way that one that Chris was just talking about here is.
There are levels.
It's at least something. It's a step up from everything else with the word isekai in the title, at least. So the premise here, and I didn't know this when I was reading it, but I found it out afterwards. The premise is that the main character is literally 1940s famous classic Japanese author Osamu Dazai. I didn't know that at the time. I just thought that he was a depressed author guy.
He's like based on a real dude?
Yeah, he's based on a real dude.
Very famous Japanese
very
author.
famous in Japan.
That's fucking crazy. It is not long enough in the future where I think this is in good taste to make him an anime boy. It's like making J.R.R. Tolkien into an which, okay, now I'll be honest.
Chris actually just spitting there.
I was going to say, hold on. If we could isekai J.R.R. Tolkien, I would watch that show. But I don't think we can get the rights to that. Anyway, it's a little too recent is what I'm saying.
He died
the 40s
like
is
80 years ago.
Yeah.
I know, but
that's 80 years not long enough to...
I just feel like it's not like it's Shakespeare or something. There's levels to this. Like, the 40s was 80 years ago, but in
Chris,
the grand scheme of
Italia
things,
existed 10 years ago.
Italia's
15 years
not
ago.
real. Whatever. We're getting lost in the sauce. Continue
Italia is
explaining.
arguably also in bad taste.
Italia is
so
definitely in
he's-
bad taste.
It is not hold up in today's.
No, it didn't hold up in then either. But anyway, continue.
Anyway, the premise here is that the main character, he's literally Osamu Daizai, but he's also kind of wink about it, so everybody just calls him Sensei. He and his girlfriend are preparing to commit lover suicide, and then they get hit by an isekai truck instead. And the main character, upon realizing that he's not really dead, immediately tries to kill himself again. And after getting saved from that suicide attempt, he embarks on a quest to find his GF, who might also be in this world, so that they can do that lover suicide that they were planning. And it actually did make me laugh a couple of times. And the main guy does have a certain weird charisma to him. It's still like kind of non-functional, like a main character who is with the party 100% for no reason. Like she's there just because. And another party member has this kind of really vaguely unjustified love at first sight thing going on with the main character. And then there's a foundational problem with the whole thing, which is that the main character has to keep exhibiting suicidal behavior because like Mr. Suicide is his whole gimmick. But that also makes his whole quest to find his lover wonky. Like in chapter 3, I think he literally tries to commit double suicide with someone else. And that just like kind of felt wrong for the character. Like
what's the point then? Like, does he care
why,
about his
why are you
wife or
going
not?
on the
Yeah.
quest to find your girlfriend, man. Which is just weird. You can't. Yeah, it's the thing that makes the manga stand out, but it's also not a card you can play all the time. And some of the dialogue was actually surprisingly good, though. And before I realized that the whole thing was a reference to classical literature, I was surprised to find a couple references to classical literature that even I recognized. I was like, whoa!
For a second, you thought Isekai was being a little highbrow, and then you're like, no, that's just the premise. Of course, they're gonna do that. Really
exactly. But anyway, all this is to say that I believe firmly that there is a difference between an F and a D and a D+, and I think that this manga kind of represents that difference. I can't recommend this, but I can't recommend this less than I can't recommend a lot of other stuff.
This one looks to be one of the better isekai slop shows. Now, at the same time, I still think this is going to devolve into an incredibly generic isekai harem. You can just scroll down to see all the busty elf women and the cat girl that are in and it's like, okay, whatever. And I am genuinely bothered by the thing Logan said, where if his goal is to find his lover to commit lover suicide again, why is he doing it with other bitch? You know what I mean? Like, where's the it's not about the love of the game, or maybe the love of the game is just killing himself, in which case he could try harder. I think that I don't know, I get the premise to some extent. I just don't know if it's going to actually work, but maybe if it's funny. I feel like this would get on my nerves personally. But it remains to be seen. The fact that it is still an isekai, despite the premise being moderately unique, is enough to put me off of it. And I'm also like, I get that some people would be into his design. He's got the kind of like slightly older, tired, bags under his eyes, like depressed man, like sad boy vibe going on. I know people love that shit, but I am not those people. Any other thoughts on this one?
If this wasn't advertised as like a isekai comedy, and we didn't just get Konosuba season 3, like I if I was like hungry for isekai comedy, I would go for this.
You will never be hungry. The
I'll
cup overfloweth.
Yeah, exactly.
Every season.
So I'm like,
till the
I'm
end
fine.
of time.
I'm fine. I'm fine missing out on this.
I was just gonna say, if people come back and say this is really funny and worth checking out, maybe I'll check out episode 1. But
I was doing some research on Osamu Dazai. I just realized that Dazai is a character in Bungo Stray Dogs as well, and his whole character is that he's suicidal.
Yeah.
There's so many Dazai references in anime.
I've seen references before. No, I think I have.
I guess it's just a running joke in Japan that like this guy has to be suicidal at all times,
which is actually kind of funny.
It's part of his
Now, I think that locks you in a little too hard for a gimmick show like this, and I think that actually can kind of write yourself into a corner when that has to be his whole entire shit and there's no room for anything else. That would be my main principal concern about this. And from what Logan described in the pre-read seems to be the case. And so I don't know. Well, at least it was interesting to talk about for the podcast, which is more than we can say about most isekai.
But not this one.
Next one we have a lot to say about for sure.
All right, Tim, you wrote yourself on this one, so go for it, my guy.
If you guys don't, where's my notes? Suicide Squad. Okay, so you guys don't know anything about Suicide Squad. You didn't watch any of the live action movies, which is understandable because they sucked. Suicide Squad. Well, one of them sucked. One of them was better, but they still weren't that worth watching. Isekai Suicide Squad takes a bunch of villains from the DC universe and they make this like secret task force based of all the villains. And in this adaptation, they take them on, they send them to a gate to another world. Hence the Isekai Suicide Squad. I will start by saying that I don't think you necessarily need to be a big DC fan to like watch this show. I mean, it will help you understand who these characters are, but like at the end of the day, I think it's still probably like totally
just to clarify. Have you
valid
seen some of this already?
No.
Okay. I didn't know if you'd catch
the first 3 episodes doesn't drop until 2 weeks. A little bit of information about this. This is gonna be a HBO Max Hulu exclusive, and we get episodes like 4 weeks before Japan does.
Hell yeah.
So
does that mean the dub before then?
No, they'll have the Japanese version.
It'll probably be like Ninja Camry, where we get the dub and stuff at the same times.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think. They weren't super clear in the press about it.
Do we know who's is it like the people like who's playing? Oh, now I'm gonna do some research. I'm very curious who the English dub voice actors are. Really, you keep talking.
I'm sure John Cena's gonna voice.
That's what I'm saying. Did they have like that good?
Though having the Dio voice actor play Peacemaker is really good.
The Japanese cast list is great. They have Dio and Lelouch as 2 of the villains, and they also have Umahara as the Joker.
Most of the the North American cast I don't think has been announced yet.
They have not, because I'm looking at the press release I have for it, and they haven't.
So I was gonna say I could maybe be convinced to watch the dub of this if it's all a bunch of A-lister American actors, but otherwise I'm probably just gonna watch the sub because it's a great cast too.
I really like the Japanese stuff for this list. I'm a little curious how Harley's gonna sound for this, because it's what's her face from Summertime Render, and she hasn't done a lot.
Yeah, the what's her name actress? Yeah, I noticed that.
What's her name? I forgot her name.
Anna Nagase or something like that.
She was Ushio. No, Ushio was great.
She's great, but I don't know how well she's gonna play like the crazy psychotic Harley. I feel like Harley and Joker are like.
Harley is quite a voice to do. You know what I mean? Like so
they're like this, the iconic standard high bar to like hit for voice acting. So I'm very interested to see how well they pull those off.
Yeah, I thought it would have been like a perfect choice for Harley.
Yeah,
but I do love that Dio and like Lelouch are 2 of the villains. I think they'll do that great. Anyways, where do I have my notes? The director is literally a no name. She's never directed before and never worked on any Wood project, so I have no idea
interesting debut
she's
for
doing here.
Yeah.
That being said, the scriptwriter, the guy who like wrote the stuff, is the same guy who made Vivi. And like how we feel about the ending aside, I think Vivi for the most part was really
Vivi's great. Yeah.
Not beating. I know the ending's a little bit controversial, like the last like 3 episodes, but like for the most part, it's really. I think we all had a great time.
For sure.
We don't talk about Logan's last episode, but yeah. But also it's also just Wit in general, and the PV looked really fun, and it's Wit in the
action looks great.
Yeah. So I'm really excited for this, for sure. And I highly recommend people, even those who like aren't necessarily like superhero DC fans, to at least like check it out and see.
So I wish I could evaluate this outside of the context of like everything about the Suicide Squad, which has a pretty mixed bag PR in like in North America, but I'm cautiously optimistic. I will say that if it borrows more from Air and Air Suicide Squad, which unfortunately some of the parts of the trailer make me think that the Joker in particular looks a lot like Air Joker, but I don't know. If they're borrowing more from that, then maybe it's going to be obnoxious. If they're borrowing more from James Gunn or from the Harley Quinn TV show, then obviously that's much better material, especially the Harley Quinn show. I would be down for that. I will admit I'm not particularly interested if they play up the Joker Harley romance because, as everyone knows, that romance is a fucking dog shit and everyone hates it. So I hope that's not a big plot point in this one. I am still excited about this one. It is such a wacky idea to it's one of those things that I almost cannot believe is happening, but here we are, and so we must.
It's
we must
Studio
check it out.
Wit.
Yeah,
they have not done anything bad ever. Maybe?
No, that's not true. But
true.
they're mostly pretty good. Yeah.
They did the Kisuna anime.
They also did the
Yeah.
They also did the what's that one? Seraph of the end. I know some people aren't.
Vampire in the Garden.
Yeah.
Vampire was fine.
Vampire in the Garden was pretty bad. Yeah, I didn't like that. Anyway, but yeah, it's a good studio to get this, and I'm excited to see what they do with it. I think it, like I said, it is a huge question mark, and I don't know. We'll see. Anyone else? Logan, do you have any thoughts?
I am mostly interested in this on the level of a novelty. I don't know if I expect it to actually be good.
Absolutely. Katana's in it, so at least we can be like, Katana every single time she shows up.
Not getting killed by her.
Also, shout out to Calliope Mori for doing the OP on this show.
Ending.
The ending,
she's
sorry.
doing the ending, yeah.
Ending.
But still, that's awesome to like do.
It's great, yeah. And the song really goes with the show, I think.
Yeah,
It fit
I
the
mean
theme
that
nice.
Calliope Mori like fits the vibe of Suicide Squad to a T.
Very much so.
Anyway, definitely one of the more anticipated ones. I'm just curious how it's gonna go. Okay, next up is who doing? Oh, it's me. Great. This is Isekai Yuru Uri Kiko Koso Date Shina Gara Bokinsha Shimasu, or A Journey Through Another World, Raising Kids While Adventuring.
That's it.
Anyway,
you got the title. The title is the synopsis.
the plot, yeah, he gets killed and it was an accident, and the god is like whoopsie, and then he gets isekai'd, and then he finds children and they seem to be powerful, and he's got the same character design as every other isekai character of all time, and I'll read my notes. I would rather gargle lava than be forced to watch more than one episode of this.
Wow, that you wrote more than me.
Yeah.
What did you write?
I just wrote the synopsis and I said skip.
Yeah, I don't really think we need to spend time on this. I don't care.
No,
Okay.
we really need an Isekai corner.
It's okay. We pace it out.
Basically over. This was
There's a
Isekai
couple
corner.
more.
There's a
It
couple
only was
more.
for isekais.
Okay, next up, am I doing this one too?
If you want to
yeah.
toss them over to me, Chris, you totally can.
Do you want to do this one, the Bones one?
Sure.
Okay, go for it.
Katsute Maho Shoujo to Aku wa Tekitai Shiteta, or the magical girl and the evil lieutenant used to be arch enemies. The title kind of explains itself. It looks like a silly little rom-com about an edgelord and a kudare magical girl. The plot doesn't really interest me, but like the production values definitely do. Like I want to give this a shot, like just because it's like Bones.
Yeah, I was so
doing-
surprised to see a premise like that and then read Bones. I was like, oh, wow. So, I don't know. We'll see. There's not much to go off of. The trailers are pretty short, and the synopsis is kind of just what the title says. So, we'll see. I think this one's going to require us to actually watch the show before we can give a good take on it. But it looks nice because it's Bones, and it looks nice.
I'm gonna say Bones needs to win this year because everything.
Bones is in their. I hate to say it. Bones is in their slop era. They haven't made anything very good since Mob
This
Psycho
is the
season 3.
15th anniversary, and
And
they're
they
just
have
doing nothing but
flopped
flop.
on everything, so they really need to win with this. They found
it's
their
good.
niche. They're going to do 10 seasons of My Hero and 10 seasons of Bungo, and everything else is kind of just man.
Yeah, it's been a while.
They need to find a new IP to get behind, and hopefully this will.
Yeah. I would like to believe that this might be okay, but also it's just a Romeo Juliet romance. Like, I don't know. We'll see.
This is another one like Kimi Todoke where it's like this. It's been like 10 years since this manga was like the author passed away, and it's just like suddenly got an adaptation out of nowhere.
Interesting.
Yeah, so it's incomplete. Well, because they passed away while writing it. So there's a lot of speculation whether or not Bones is going to give it a anime original ending or not. But we'll see.
They
how
could.
that goes.
They could maybe wrap it up.
It's always just interesting to see these like IPs from like 10 years to suddenly like reappear.
Yeah, get a new take at it. I'm interested for sure. It has got enough going on for it that I'm interested. Okay, next up is Koi wa Futago de Warekirenai.
Oh, this one's actually me.
That's
Whoops.
one. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude, this one has nothing about it. Like, there's very little to go off.
There's very little to go off of, but we'll see. I want y'all to know that Tim auto-assigned this show to me thinking it was up my alley.
No, I said it was more you than Chris's.
Sure.
Because I picked
Fair.
my 6, and then I was like, "This what's left?" And I was like, "Oh, Chris is gonna hate the Russian one. He's gonna hate this one, so just gonna give it to one."
I shan't say anything.
Like, I can already tell where this story is going to go. Like, it is two twins having a crush on this childhood friend. The older sister dates him first, and they break up in high school. Now it's the younger sister's chance to pursue the relationship, and it's just like a twin love triangle.
Yeah, it's like a sibling love triangle kind of thing. And I don't know, that's really all we have to go off of. The trailer's pretty short and non-descriptive. Yeah, if that sounds interesting to you, then go for it. But
this seems to be the romance slop trash of the season, and the art doesn't really help either. Even for romance, it looks kind of flat.
yeah, I agree. I'm
Well,
not really sure.
I want to point out that Mal has a tag called Love Polygon as a tag, which I
But
think
it's
is a
not.
hilarious name.
There's only
for
3 of them.
That is what a love polygon is.
Well, yeah,
It's
Chris,
pretty.
it's I mean, it's like a catch-all name for like all different kinds of like love triangles,
Okay,
love
so
squares,
it's
love pentagram. So that's why they go with
It's
love
just
polygon.
love shape.
Yeah,
But the shape must have defined sides or whatever, identical sides, whatever the definition of a polygon is.
yeah.
It's been a while
Which
since I took geometry.
You should retake geometry if you want to get into anime, Chris.
Exactly. Okay, let's move on. Logan, tell us about this next one, which is a stealthy Seikai, and I didn't even fucking realize until I read your pre-read, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, and this is Kono Sekai wa Fukanzen Sugiru, which I think translates to like debugging in another world.
Yeah, quality
or something
assurance
like
in
that.
another
Quality
world.
assurance. Yeah, okay. So this one actually started better than it wound up. So it's about a debugger in a full dive game who gets Sword Art Online with a lot of other debuggers. And he is still like diligently working after a year of no contact in the hopes that it will give him the opportunity to log out. And I really wish there were anything in the narrative to suggest that he weren't completely crazy. Because, like, he meets a group of scumbag guys, like, you know the type. Handsy with girls, mean to NPCs, have goatees, you know. They're scumbags, but they're totally right that his devotion to debugging this game feels kinda cultish at this point. And he's like, no, they said we can't use debug mode or whatever. And when the scumbag guys do it, and I'm like, well, yeah, they said that before they trapped you in a video game for a year, so screw them. But, and that little diatribe raises another problem, actually. This isekai subverts your expectations by giving all the villains God mode. The main character technically has access to God mode himself, but he's too Metroid Other M to use it. But that's just kind of the same problem in the opposite.
Reference.
But that's just kind of the same problem in the opposite direction. Like, the main character manages to cheese one of them by knocking him into an infinite void, but like, I don't know if I trust them to keep fights interesting when villains can just do whatever. Like, it already feels a little unrealistic that he escaped the scumbag guys the first time. I said way back at the beginning there was something good about this, right? Sorry, I should have. So the first chapter is actually good. It is from the perspective of a curious NPC, and watching her study the main character's like gamer cheese strats was totally kind of fun. A whole village at some point comes together to help him like do this stun lock pattern on a supposed to be unbeatable energy enemy, and it's all pretty fun. And honestly, at first I thought it was going to be like a debugger getting close to a doomed NPC in a video game without any of the SAO stuff. And I would have liked to have read that like a lot more than this, actually. I can't recommend it as it is, but it did trick me for a little bit.
The premise that you described is not apparent in the trailer whatsoever, and I would have never guessed it in a million years. They do not show any of the debugging stuff in the trailer at all, and I actually had I had read your pre-read when I watched this, and then I had to like look at the title and go back to your pre-read, read it again, and be like, oh, it's this one? Just because the trailer is mostly like, it looks like these two people traveling around together and interacting with a bunch of the like fantasy people, and it's all very kind of cute and fun, and the character designs are nice, but it's just not really apparent in the trailer at all. I still think it looks nice. It has solid production values. I was at least intrigued to check it out. Yeah, I don't know. It's a fresh enough premise, I guess.
Chris, like the reason why you didn't get it in the PV is because it wasn't in the synopsis either. Like if
It's
they
not
actually
a
make
synopsis.
they make a point of like keeping that a secret.
I assume it's going to be an episode 1 reveal.
It's an episode 1 reveal. Yeah, it is an end of chapter 1 reveal, and I kind of spoiled it, but also it spoils it in the title if you know what the title.
Yeah, exactly.
Is,
like, quality assurance in another
world. So okay, it's an isekai. Wow.
I mean, that doesn't mean bug testing necessarily.
I guess, but he's got a cell phone thing in the poster. But anyway, I think, despite Logan's misgivings, that this is probably at least worth checking out. Maybe depending on if the season's lighter or not. I think that there's enough sauce here to maybe be okay. And that's saying a lot because it is technically an isekai still.
I mean, like when I was seeing the PV, like it actually felt like it had like some soul behind it. You know, like there was like some like love and care like in the story, in the production. Like I feel like this might actually be like kind of good. Maybe
we'll see.
I really want to give it a chance for sure.
I think the points Logan brought up are valid, but also at the same time, I could see them being creative with how they choose to go about doing the fights. But I don't know. We'll see.
They also said like the villager girl has like a secret of her own. So like
yeah, and that hasn't been explored yet either.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts on this?
I'm curious about that. Nah.
Tim?
I'm good.
Okay. And we are moving on. This next one is who? Is it me? It's me. Okay.
You can make me do it if you want.
Nah, it's fine. This is Madogushi Dahlia wa Utsumukanai, or Dahlia in Bloom. This is another one of those girl isekai protag shows where she gets reincarnated into a family. But as a baby, she gets raised, and then as a tool maker, and her father, it was the apprentice to her father, but right before she's about to get married to her fiance, her father dies, and then her fiance cheats on her and leaves her. So just real girl failure hours out here. So then she decides that she needs to be self-sustaining and live for herself and not for other people. So she wants to set out and kind of start her own craft. And I don't know, it's still kind of that same sort of craftsman isekai, like reincarnated into a family that I don't know. This isn't really impressing me in any particular way, so I don't think I will be watching this.
Really? I thought you'd be more interested in this, like from the PV.
It's an isekai. What do you mean? It's just
because like no,
isekai.
It's an isekai slice of life.
Okay, there's 8 of those every year.
Well,
like.
Not necessarily like. Just
yes,
like the
there
whole,
are all the
like
farming
living.
ones.
I think there's a difference between like a farming isekai and like a slice of life isekai, because like she's not really farming.
I think she's just like crack. I think shows like that. There are a dime a dozen shows like this around.
Also, like there is literally zero reason for this to be an isekai. Like I hate Japan's crutch on isekai.
I agree. Yet another classic example. Of this could have just been about a woman in the fantasy world, but
like
no.
just make it a fantasy world. Why do we need the isekai aspect?
Yeah, agreed. If I hear that this is good, then maybe I could be convinced, but I don't know.
Like from what I can tell from the PV is that like she goes on dates with like other men.
So much for her being
That's what I
independent.
gathered from the PV. So like, if it's like a dating show, like
Oh,
she's
maybe
like,
maybe it is kind of a reverse harem otome.
yeah,
vibe.
Chris. Like that's what I'm saying. Like I think you should give this
Why?
initial
Wait.
chance.
Why do you think an otome vibe would make me want to watch it? I also don't like otome shows very
Maybe
much.
Ellie's gonna make you watch it.
I
Yeah.
doubt it very seriously.
That being said, I would rather Ellie make you go back and watch the Seven Loop show from like
Sure.
2 seasons ago than
Yeah,
this one.
that's at least a
'cause this one
webtoon.
Seems kind of.
I
Yeah.
want to give this a chance. Like maybe like an episode.
Juan,
just
I
to, like,
think
see-
you
see
are.
the
I
actual
think you
vibes.
are in a delusional state about thinking that the show is going to be good for you. But whatever. I admire your optimism. I was putting it in the isekai slot pile. Oh,
I don't think it's Isekai slot, but it's probably not gonna be worth.
looking like that to me. Am I doing this one? Oh, I am. Okay. This is Make Heroine ga Sugiru or Too Many Losing Heroines. I believe that the premise, and no thanks to this awful Mal premise, which I'm not even going to scroll down because it's terrible. I believe the premise of this one is one of the main characters is a guy who sees the classroom beauty get confessed to by another popular boy, and then I think they were childhood friends or something, but then she turns them down, and then I don't know.
Where are you getting that from, Chris?
That's
you got the genders wrong. It's
it's
girls.
the other way around.
It's girls seeing like another girl getting rejected, and like they become friends, and like they're trying to like become. It's like a coming of age story.
Kazuhiko Miku is a high school boy content to blend in with the background mob until he witnesses his more popular classmate Anna get dumped by her childhood friend.
Not PV. The
Okay,
PV is
I
like
think
two
the main
girls.
I think the main character is a dude. I think that their main character is a dude, but he kind of gets adopted by this group of girls who all get rejected. And that's what it is about. It's about a group of girls who have all had issues in their love lives at some point. So that's kind of what brought them together.
There
as
is
friends.
a dude in here.
So
I thought it
anyway,
was just an all-girl cast.
I'll be honest, there isn't much to work with in some of this stuff. But the preview, this is an A1 Studios production. It is, I believe, it's based off of a light novel. It is very nice production values. It looks visually very good. This just seems to be a new A1 like high school dramedy slice of life type beat. And on that alone, I'm probably going to check it out because I think the trailer made it look pretty fun. I don't know. I'm at least like in the checkout category because it's got decent production values. That's
Chris,
kind of where I'm at.
would you agree with me that this kind of has like Maiden over Savage Season vibes?
No, because there's a man
No.
in the cast.
Yeah,
no.
I mean that I wrote that thinking it was all females.
There's literally a guy in the poster. He's in the background.
I did not see him. I just straight up did not see him.
One has,
He's also on the cast list if you scroll down.
Yeah.
Well, I see him now. Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know what kind of vibes this has because it's kind of nondescript. It just feels like a slice of life dramedy to me based on the trailer. But again, hopefully it is good. I don't know if it will be good or not, obviously. But
I really like the vibes of the show.
yeah,
Like,
I think the trailer
from
made it
PV.
look fun, and I am at least down to check it out for sure. Do you have
I
any
did say
other
that
thoughts?
this would be like a perfect Juan and Chris show. 'Cause, like I don't know, it just feels that way to me.
Yeah, I could see that for sure. Do we have any other thoughts on this one?
Tim?
I'm just hoping it doesn't get delayed 6 months.
Is there any
Like every
indication?
other-
Oh, A1, because it's
A1.
A1.
It's A1.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hopefully
God.
they got it
Wonder Egg
together.
priority. Yeah.
Hopefully they got it together for this one.
Oh, no, Wonder Egg is Cloverworks.
Well, that used to be A1.
When was the last A1 show?
I don't know. What else did they do? They've done stuff.
Neo.
Nier, really?
Oh, so that's the joke you were
They did
making.
nothing
then.
else.
Oh, they've done
Uh,
Solo Leveling. That was them.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
right.
so long.
That at least was on time.
That really was some time.
Okay. Next up is this is a manga technically.
Uh-huh.
Logan.
Yes, it is. This is Maogun Saikyo no Majutsuki wa Ningen Data. Now, I know I've thrown you off a couple of times in the past by being mildly complimentary to stuff with bad words in the title, but this is exactly as lame as the word Mao usually implies. So there's a critical load-bearing problem that the mangaka really needed to address in Chapter 1, and they kind of didn't. So the premise is that the main character is a disguised human working for the demons as like a mage, but he's also got this like streak of like trying to be a compassionate conqueror of the humans. Like there's a scene where he like deliberately says, "No, your taxes are staying the same under the demon lord," or whatever, and that kind of thing. And why not just not conquer them? Is my point of confusion. Like in a Code Geass situation where like, you know, the Japanese had already lost, there is at least a nihilistic but functioning internal logic to like being a Suzaku and trying to be one of the nice bad guys. But in this situation, like, why not just fight the demons? I don't get it.
Especially if he's powerful. And he, according to the
This-
title, he's the most powerful magician in the army.
Yeah, he's quite powerful. And maybe that's a question with a good answer, but that's an answer that you really have to give right away because like everything about the show hinges on the answer to that question. And on top of that, it's got pretty boring character designs. Magic is so far just like beams and those like weird sci-fi looking force fields. And the isekai stuff, which is there, is completely ancillary. Like he's an isekai guy, but he could have just been a guy
really?
who's born in. Yes, he's
Oh,
an
that
isekai
wasn't
guy.
made clear by any of this. Great, another one where
Exactly,
it's just
because
tacked on.
because it's like it's a full baby isekai, and like he seems to be basically
That actually
like,
somehow
engrossed in
detracts
the
even more
world.
points, and it was pretty much sitting at 0 already. So
Yeah, exactly. I am not interested in this in the slightest. This is exactly as bad as it sounds.
my notes for this one are doo-doo ass premise, doo-doo ass visuals. What's not to love? Because it does not look very good.
These are my notes. I've been raving about production values of some shows this season being really good. This is the opposite. I have never seen a show with such bad production value since Studio Gohan has been founded.
I don't know if it's quite that bad, but it's pretty ugly. So
The magic looks like it was made with Adobe After Effects with
It's
a
pretty
crazy
bad.
amount of bloom.
I think After Effects could look better if you give it some time. Anyway, we don't have to waste more time on this. We can talk about a good show.
The special effects was something.
It,
All right.
Dude, it just looks so bad.
All right, Tim, tell us about an interesting show.
What show am I doing? Oh, my Neko Punch. Okay. So the premise from what I got from the TV is it's about this girl who used to do YouTube with her friends, but for some reason they kicked her out and she vows revenge against them. So she tries to make her own YouTube channel to surpass her friends, but she fails. But then she runs into a vampire.
Yeah, I was very surprised when the trailer suddenly became supernatural. I was like, what?
Yeah. She then makes a deal with said vampire that if the vampire can help her channel reach 2 million subs, then she will let the vampire eat her. And that seems to be the premise of the show.
The vampire's name is Live. That's really funny, actually.
It is right up the slightly wacky weird alleyway that PA Works has been pumping out lately. So it feels very much in their wheelhouse. The staff is the same as Kome. I think the director is the same guy, and he's like touched every other PA Works in some way.
Yeah.
And the series composition is also the Kome. So it looks like it's gonna be like, if you like Kome, you'll probably like this one too.
You know what, the vibe, I don't think vibe-wise it's going to be similar, but the one thing that this immediately reminded me of is because it's the visual of a flying vampire spiriting somebody away into the night. It was Call of the Night. I feel like you have to make that
I
comparison.
got exactly the same vibes.
I think it's going to be a little
I think it's going to be very different. Yeah, I think it's going to be silly and upbeat, and Call of the Night is neither of those things. So,
It's definitely silly.
yeah, but it's not upbeat. So
You're right. Yeah, it's not like the same. It's got PA Works has that like kind of signature upbeatness to it.
Kind of reminds me a little bit of Buddy Daddy meets like, I don't know.
The Buddy Daddy art style is kind of there, yeah.
it is very pastel shaded, in a way that I don't think a lot of shows are. I like the character designs a lot. The main girl looks a lot like Korone, the dog VTuber. I don't know if that's on purpose. She has like the same hairstyle.
Well, I mean, she just has like the dog ears, kind of, but
Yeah.
like that's just kind of common with like a lot of anime girls.
True. Anyway, I think this premise is very fun, and it remains to be seen how wacky the vampire girl ends up being, but I'm super into this. This just looks like a really fun new original premise, and PA Works originals typically are pretty good. Typically.
I will also say Go ahead. Juan.
I'm very curious on what the other girls like are because like they only say vampire. They don't say what the other girls are. But like I assume they're all like supernatural monsters, you know.
Could be. Hard to tell.
Well, I mean, one of the girls is like in a like Victorian dress, so like
Yeah. She could just be a maid.
That could be like a Lolita just
Yeah.
style that she likes to wear.
or maybe they're all vampires. I don't know.
Like a
Maybe.
thing.
were you
I
gonna say,
want to
Tim?
say this is the first of 3 shows that PA works to see on this season.
Yeah,
So we're going to see a
really
lot
caught
of
me by
them.
surprise that they're working on
pretty soon.
3 shows this season.
2 of them are originals too, which is crazy. This is definitely, I think, probably the more premiere and wacky one because the other one's a sports one and the other one's a game adaptation. But we'll get there when we get there. I would say safely that this is one of the ones I am looking forward to the most this season.
Oh, for sure.
Of the new finds. Okay, back to Slop City. This is Mob Kara Hajimaru Tansaku Eiyu Tan, or a nobody's way to level or to way up to an exploration hero level. All right, I'm gonna go back to refer to my notes. So the mouse summary describes. So basically, it's not Kai. I think he's in Japan still.
No, it says it takes place in Japan.
Yeah, but there are dungeons kind of like solo leveling, and he's like low level, and he's hunting slimes, getting some. It's actually exactly like solo leveling. After he kills the rare slime, he gets a summon card, and Mal describes the summon as summons a stunning warrior maiden. And so I went into the PV expecting a stunning warrior maiden, and then the girl that popped out looked like she was 8 years old, and I was like, oh no. So she's like a lolly, and I'm not interested. Anyway, I wasn't interested already because it looks like slop.
It's not just one lolly.
There's
it's
lots
2
of
lollies.
them. Yeah, there's multiple lollies.
It's a like angel lolly and a devil lolly.
Oh, pull my devil lolly.
Shut the fuck up.
Anyway. Do we have anything else to say about this?
No,
shit?
it's just wannabe solo leveling
With some
except
questionable
somehow
tendencies.
worse.
Yeah. Anyway. Okay, next up.
The other PA
This is the other PA Works show, yeah.
Oh, is it
Tim.
time already?
Yeah.
All right. Nanare Hananare. Or does it have an English title?
Cheer for you.
Cheer for you. That makes more sense. Okay. So the synopsis for this is very lacking. It's basically a kind of seems like a cute girls or cute things on the surface, but it's chilly in this time. And the PV didn't really give me much more information about that. Normally I would have just tossed this into like the generic cute girl bin, but it's the Bang Dream My Go team that's doing it, and they did a really good job with
That
giving
explains
depth.
the CGI cheer sequences in the trailer. But
I see.
Yeah.
But yeah, they do a really good job of giving depth to normally superficial shows, and it seems like from the synopsis, there's more to it than like once it goes to and cheer. So
yeah,
maybe
there
I'll
seems
give
to
it
be a
2
bit
episodes.
of a backstory thing going on. So I don't know. This is definitely an ensemble girl sports type show. I think it's probably, like Tim said, leaning a bit more in the idol direction than the sports direction, but it is objectively a sport. Like cheer is a sport. And yeah, it looks really nice. I like the character designs. It's also kind of pastel, not as pastel as the other one. But I like this. This looks fun, and I will definitely check it out for sure.
I'm going to watch this because A, it is PA Works, and B, it is a sports show, so that means I can finally have a show in the sports category for our anime awards.
Yeah, gotta have one of them. Hey, if when does Rising Impact start? Is that started yet?
It starts next week, I think.
Okay, so maybe that'll be good, but we'll see. Anyway, yeah, gotta have at least one. But yeah, I'm into this. I've never seen a cheer anime before. I think that's new.
I don't think there's ever been a cheerleading anime before this.
So
There's
that's
definitely been a cheer anime before.
I think they're cheer danshi. Is that one of them?
Oh shit! Yeah,
There's-
Cheerdanchi is familiar. Yeah.
Anime Yell. I think,
Oh
as
yeah,
well.
That was another one too. So this is not
Okay,
the
never
first
mind.
ever, but it's the first being done by PA Works and a more high level team. So that's nice.
Yeah.
I'm interested. This could also just kind of be generic and like whatever, but I am at least interested enough to check it out.
If Cheer gets an anime, I want to see a marching band anime. Fucking hit me up when that happens.
Like a proper, I would
Kinda
love.
I want like a
Like,
proper.
obviously,
like-
Hibike has marching elements, but I think I'm with a proper marching band anime where they do like competition level with all the cool designs and stuff. I think that would be sick.
dude, I mean, like just seeing like the marching, like the
But also,
the marching steps,
that
like,
must be really hard to animate. So
yeah,
I
it
get
must be hard.
You
Now,
would get a full
if
CGI like sequence for that.
if it doesn't happen within the next 15 years, I'll make it.
Juan's flying to
You heard it here first,
Mark my
guys.
words. Now, 15 years is a long time. I am sure someone else is gonna get to it before I can.
Maybe.
But please, someone
Juan's
make
gonna
it, please.
Now it's actually just a desperation move. Okay, this next one looks atrocious. Naze boku no sekai wo doremo oboetanai no ka, or why nobody remembers my world? Question mark.
It's so funny that that the translation went out that way.
I know. So, there was some kind of war, but then, even though humanity won, somebody changed the world and it got overwritten, and the main character is the only one that remembers it. But in the new world, humanity loses. Oh no, and now demons and dragons are in the land, and the hero has been forgotten. And then he finds a woman and is gonna save the world. I don't know, dude. It sounds like shit. The trailer had a really, really funny visual of a PNG of a girl swirling into a black hole that made me like literally spit my drink out because I wasn't ready for it.
It's really good.
And that was my favorite thing about it. And I hope though, if the show is entirely PNGs of anime women being poorly edited into black holes, I could watch it. But I don't think it's going to be that. I don't think we have anything else.
This feels very much like a Final Fantasy bug and bin kind of toss and move
absolutely.
on.
Yeah, I got nothing.
Oh yeah, next up is a manga, I believe, for Logan.
Yes, it is. So this is Nige Jozu no Waka
What'd you call me?
I didn't practice these. Which is, so this is a like very loose retelling of the actual historical Japanese event, the collapse.
Before
of
you
the
go on, English name?
It's the elusive samurai.
I don't know. Oh, that's what it is. Thank you. This is a loose retelling of the historical collapse of the Kamakura shogunate, and I tend to like quote unquote, you can't see me, but I'm doing really big scare quotes with my hands, historical action manga. Especially ones that are willing to basically just give characters superpowers. The main character's thing, by the way, is that he's a dodge tank, and that the overarching narrative is that he's got to avoid the guy who destroyed his shogunate until he's capable of beating him, which is a pretty solid premise. Unfortunately, at least in the first chapter, it had some pretty serious tone problems. One of the mains is presented simultaneously as like a genuine, serious mentor and an extremely shticky comic relief. And the author tries to like swap between those two roles on a dime, and it really does not work at all. Like, I've known this guy for the span of a single chapter, and I'm already sick of both of his bits. They especially don't work in the wake of the brutal and fairly graphic depictions of the destruction of the shogunate, which kind of cleanly divide the chapter between a pastoral intro and a pretty tense ending. The beginning is marred by some annoyingly meta-narration. There's a line where the mangaka is basically like begging the Shonen Jump audience of 14-year-old boys to trust him that this is a capable shonen and not a boring historical drama, which kind of cracked me up. And the ending is marred by a kind of ugly fight scene. Like when your character is a dodge tank, locations in space are very important, and that fight was like kind of messy enough to scare me off of the rest of the manga. Though honestly, as we're going through this season, I'm realizing that there's very little that I actually want to watch, and so this might get upgraded to something that I watch just so that I can watch something. But yeah, I don't think I can recommend this in the abstract. I think that this is more likely to turn out bad than good.
I have great news, Logan. This looks really good. The trailer was...
Oh, yeah, I was about to say.
So Cloverworks is doing this, and the trailer has beautiful animation. It is like... I think they rotoscope some of it, actually, is how some of it looks really like fluid in the way that rotoscoping looks like. So
all right.
I was immediately pretty interested in this just because it looks like to be a competently made historical action show. I see the character that you're talking about, and I could totally see him being kind of annoying, but I think that there is at least enough juice here to justify checking it out. That's kind of where I'm at right now.
If this looks really good, then I'm willing to check it out. Because again, part of my problem was the art of the fight.
No, yeah, that's the thing. This looks pretty solidly high budget to me.
I have to add to say this is from the creator of Assassination Classroom.
I was gonna bring that
sure.
up if you
Yeah.
couldn't. Yeah.
Last class is good.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So like I have confidence in that this is probably gonna be a good anime. Like if it has a production value to back it up, it's got the storytelling prowess of the S class guy. Like I think this will be good. Also, I want to point out that the whole Kamakura Shogunate story, it sounds exactly like a Fire Emblem plot, Logan. You gotta
totally
admit that. Like, you know,
it is literally like Marth gets his kingdom taken over, and then he runs somewhere else, and then eventually he's gonna run back.
yeah, run back with an army. Like,
That's
and
fun.
he made the army by becoming friends with them, and blah blah. Power of friendship. All right. Next up.
Does Tim have anything to say about this one? I'm actually pretty excited. Like, this is one of the nicer looking shows.
It looks good. It looks really good.
I am optimistic about this show. I'm looking forward to it. It's so like, you know, mouse scores are obviously like very bloated and stuff. So like when you see a low mouse score, it's a little bit of alarm bells going off. And Nige Jozu has like a pretty bad manga score, so I was like a little like about the show, but like it's Cloverwork and it looks amazing.
I think that this
So
could be a
I
pretty good
think
adaptation boost.
They will. I think they're gonna elevate it enough to it's
Yeah.
good. But like I was initially a little bit skeptical because of
The low
it didn't
manga
seem like
rating.
people like the manga. But
Okay.
I am a big fan of Cloverwork and the PVs and stuff they've shown us so far.
Cool. Next up is me. Great. This is Ore
If you
wa
ever want to defer to me, Chris, you totally can.
Fucking take it then. Go for it. You read
All
the
right.
title. It's 8 pages long.
I will. Ore wa subete wo parry suru. Gyaku kunchigai no sekai sakyo wa. I parry everything. What do you mean I'm the strongest? I'm not even an adventurer yet.
You forgot the last 3 words.
Yeah, also, wa boken sha ni naretai was the last.
Dude, I didn't even.
I guess we
It
ran out
wasn't
of-
in
the
thing.
title was
Yeah.
so long that I couldn't copy the whole thing over to
That's
the doc.
so funny. All right. Anyway, so we're back to the generic fantasy shows. Like, it's not an isekai. It's just fantasy. It's what Logan likes to refer as native isekai. Like, the twist is that you can parry anything. Woo! I want to move on, but like someone in Mao, like, you know, like how they have like forum posts.
Mhm.
Apparently someone made a post titled, "Trust me, guys, this show will be peak."
Well, it is. You know what? It is
You know,
OLM.
I don't trust you.
Like, I didn't notice that until now. Like, OLM is doing it, which is kind of crazy. They don't usually do isekai slop. But
I don't know, man.
this is literally just another one of those character is really good at only one thing, and like that's their gimmick. And now, granted, I did have in my notes, this is one of the, I think this is also probably because it's OLM, one of the isekai shows that has production value. Like, there's always a couple of seasons. It's like, okay, this is the isekai slop that looks ugly, and then this is the isekai slop that has some actual merit behind it because it's got decent production values and it looks okay. Tim has done the research and pointed out that he knows nothing about the source material. The guy that said it was going to be peak knows nothing about the source material and is just going based on vibes. I think we should
I
trust
think we were
that
right
guy.
not to trust him.
No, I think that guy is a prophet. Anyway, this looks bad. We can move on.
I do want to
Yay.
say that the main character is hot.
Yeah, he's
You
a
know,
big muscle boy. I think
big
that
muscle boy with
they should
scars.
put this guy in Dark Souls, and then I would like to watch the anime.
Hell yeah!
All right, Logan, tell us about
Watch me solo her.
the cat
Uh,
show.
Whatever his name is.
Yeah, so this is Ramen Akaneko, or Red Cat Ramen. And there is a single page. Oh, sorry, I don't actually explain the premise in this whole thing. The premise is the cats run a ramen shop. That's the entire thing. There is a single page of unmitigated greatness in Ramen Akaneko. A woman pets a tiger. It's a very cute tiger. And I know that doesn't sound like much, but that's like a lot more than most manga get. Like, genuinely, in the manga, Krishna the tiger is like a triumph of anthropomorphization that doesn't, like, sand away all of the charm of the original animal. And would that I could say that about any of the rest of the cats in this mostly cat cast. Like, you can see in the poster, for starters, the poster actually looks worse in some ways than the manga did, just from what I'm looking at. But you can see that like they're not really. They look more like the Lucky Cat figures that you see around with the like huge bobbleheads and the like weirdly ugly proportions and facial features. And the only other exception to that is Hana, the white cat, but she looks like more like a rabbit than a cat in the manga, and she still doesn't look very good even in this poster. And like I would love to say that the Cats Make Ramen anime is great, but the characters are also weirdly uncat-like, except for Krishna, that it doesn't feel that much like the Cats Make Ramen anime. And the jokes aren't very good, and the characters are completely charmless except for Krishna and Hana to an extent, but like absolutely the token Humi in the cast. You can see her there in the back. She is a complete personality void. And I don't know.
What
there's
the
no
fuck
real
did
hook
you
to-
call her?
A Humi?
I hate that. Go on.
Anyway, yeah, and there's no real hook to this besides like the cats are cute, but the cats aren't cute. They're not cute. So what are you supposed to do? And yeah, I can't recommend this as much as I really want to, just from the 3-word description,
My notes for this show are, if Logan gives his manga glowing reviews, I'll check it out. Otherwise, I'm good on skipping. Because like the concept is cute, but the production values are not there.
Yeah, the production values weren't there in the original, so. All right, so next up is Senpai wa Otokanoko, which loosely translates to My Crossdresser Senpai. This is a manga, so I should be doing it. But just based on my tastes, I think that there's like a 0% chance I'm gonna like this. What's it called? Chris has already read the entire manga, so I'm mostly just gonna punt this to him. Go ahead.
So you
Chris.
deferred this to Chris, but you don't defer Elf plus size Elf to me?
Have you read
Are
it?
You fucking
No,
I read plus size Elf.
Oh, maybe we should have done that too.
no.
But Logan clearly had more to say about
the
that
other
one.
reason I'm punting to Chris is because I don't really have an opinion on this. Chapter 1 was completely devoid of anything. I had opinions on plus size Elf.
Okay, let me get into this real quick. So, Senpai wa Otokonoko. This has, I think, a bit of a simple premise, and once you get past the simple premise, there is a wealth of depth and some really interesting character studies going on in this one. So the basic premise is main character is a very, very pretty girl, and the other main character, who is a girl, confesses her love for her. The pretty blonde girl reveals that she is in fact a cross-dressing boy and assumed that was going to be enough to put off the other main character, and the other main character insists that this is not a problem at all and she is still in love with her. That is the basic chapter 1 premise, and it like I can see how that could be like a little off-putting and be like, okay, sure, I get it, haha. But then we find a couple of other factors as well. So the other guy you see in the poster is the blonde-haired boy's best friend, who, this is a little bit of a spoiler, but it's pretty early on, you will quickly find out has been in love with his best friend for a long time. So we have this love triangle that forms pretty immediately, and it is a proper love triangle.
A love polygon.
A love polygon, if you will. I would say it is a proper love triangle because as the other girl gets integrated into the friend group, there is a little bit of a thing between him and the best friend and her too, as well. It develops, it is like a proper bisexual gay mess love triangle, and it's great. This manga does an excellent job of exploring gender identity from a very uniquely Japanese perspective. It really hones in specifically on the main character's relationship with his mother, who is extremely adverse to his cross-dressing. So the main character is completely hiding what he's doing from her. He has a locker at school that has all of his cross-dressing stuff, the school outfit and the hair, which is a wig, because at home he has to like have a normal boy haircut because every time his hair gets too long, his mom freaks out. So there is a lot more depth immediately to basically every character. The main girl has a lot more going on than she lets on, than her like overly enthusiastic Genki attitude. She actually has a lot of issues talking to people. She has some trauma with her family as well. And then the main character obviously doesn't want to admit he's gay for his best friend, but there's a little bit more to it than that. Like I said, I was really impressed. There's like layers, like an onion, like ogres. that you have to kind of peel away, and the deeper you get, the more you're rewarded with this one. I loved this manga. I thought it was phenomenal, and I think it gets much better as it goes on. This is one of my most anticipated shows of the season. I would say from the trailer, it does a really good job of very faithfully adapting the art style and some of the ways that the art shifts in the comedy bits as well to do these little like chibi jokey faces. I like that. But I think it looks pretty good. I think the anime is going to be a solid adaptation. Highly recommend. That's my take.
Yeah, this actually does like really interest me. Like from the PV, like it really does feel like a trans story, because like I don't think we get a lot of those in anime.
It is I will say this right now just to temper expectations. It is a little bit more complicated than that, but yes.
Okay.
That is definitely how it feels for the beginning section of the manga for sure.
But like,
yeah.
no, I'm definitely like really interested in this. So like, I definitely want to check this out.
I would say if Logan has it within him to try maybe just a little bit to get past it, because I do think it's quite good. But I could see that if it is still at its core a slice of life drama in high school, so I could maybe not. That might not be enough. I don't know.
Tim, you got any other thoughts?
Particularly, I agree that we don't get this kind of stories very often.
No, it's very
and
rare.
I appreciate it. So, on that alone, I'll probably definitely give this a couple of episodes.
I don't think that they will be able to adapt the entire story in one core. It's not a very long manga, but it's got a little bit too much, so I'm not actually sure. It would be kind of lame. But at the same time, I feel like this is absolutely one of those manga that is like gonna get one core and never a second one. So go read the manga if you like it. That would be my advice. But looking forward to it.
Next up is the meme machine itself.
I'm sort of punting on this one too. Like
What?
this as a comedy. Well, okay, no, relax. This as a comedy is funnier than the average manga, but it wasn't anything particularly special, just as is. But we've seen a lot of indications from the trailers and so forth that this is going to be a pretty serious elevation of the manic tone of the original in the anime. And I think that there's a good chance that the anime turns out a lot funnier. So, like, if I were just basing this on the manga alone, I would be kind of wishy-washy. But, like, I'm definitely going to watch this just because I think that they have sold me on the anime as a really good adaptation.
Yeah, we haven't said anything about like the plot itself of this anime.
What is the plot?
I was gonna say I don't think we know that. I don't think there's any way of knowing.
I
what
don't
the
think
plot
we
is.
really need to. All we need to know is that a girl shows up to school and she is a deer, and
She's got deer antlers.
she's got deer antlers. She might be a robot? Question mark.
Who knows?
The second PV starts with like her like fusing with a deer, and then the the caption: "Why aren't humans deer?" That's it. That's all I need.
This one is looking to be a pretty screwball, wacky, absurdist type comedy, which is exactly my shit and the kind of thing that I look for in anime, because I really don't think you get comedy like this anywhere else. And so I'm super pumped for this one. It's one of the most excited shows I'm most excited about this season for sure.
It does like the Pop Team Epic chibis.
It also has like mixed media like Pop Team Epic does too. So
but this is all Wit Studio.
Yes, and that's the other thing too. Wit is doing this, and I think that it's very rare for Wit to get a pure comedy like this, and so I'm quite excited to see.
It.
I know.
They did the Oni one from a few seasons back. I don't think you guys watched it though, but they've done something similar to this. Yeah, let me find it.
But either way, it's exciting to see that as well, and I'm pumped. I'm super pumped for this one.
Like I promise you, this is gonna be like the most talked about show this season.
Watch the trailer. If you haven't watched the trailers for this one yet, we don't usually recommend that. Go check the trailer out. It will do a better job of advertising this than anything we've said so far.
Like I said, like I only saw the first 5 seconds of the second PV, and that is all I need. I don't need to see any more than that. I also saw the first 10 seconds of the OP, and it has been stuck in my head all month long. Like, you guys have seen it, right?
I don't think
Shika noko 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 kosh tan tan. Shika noko 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 kosh tan tan.
I guess not. And so we'll have to save it for the real show.
It's all over Twitter.
It is all everywhere.
Exciting.
Literally. I don't know. I thought this was gonna be more like a meme machine than like actual funny things, but we'll see.
I would like to believe it's funny.
I think it's gonna be the funniest show this year.
We'll see.
I at this point I don't think anything can live up to the hype because this is like been the most talked thing.
I think
since
it's
that
pretty
movie
cryptic
dropped.
about what it's actually going to be like, so it's kind of hard to have expectations. So I think that
No,
works
people-
towards its favor.
People really looking up to this. I think the PV alone has like 3 million views, something like that. It's
Hell yeah.
You'd love to see it.
let me double check the view count.
I would be disappointing if this. I would be surprised if this sucks. is what
Deer
I'm trying
stocks
to
are
say.
gonna go through the roof
Yeah.
after this show.
John Deere to the tractor company.
That's it.
Okay, we will move on for now.
Yeah.
Excited to talk about that one on the midseason. This is basically just isekai, but they got big muscles.
You say the name. It's a long name.
Shinmai osan bokinsha saiko party ni shinu hodo kitara ete muteki ni naru.
You got
Or
the English name?
the rookie middle-aged adventurer was trained to death by the most powerful party to become invincible. So I believe the premise is that he started training to be an adventurer when he was middle-aged instead of as a kid, and is getting trained by a very powerful party, and he's got big muscles. That's it.
He looks like bootleg toy soul bad guy.
Yeah, for real.
Like without the hair and the headband. That's all I got.
And his name is, and I didn't realize this until now.
Oh, that's right.
It's
His
Rick
name-
Gladiator, like gladiator. Just
Well, I'm sure it actually is gladiator, just like the
gladiator.
Japanese. The Japanese have trouble.
Oh no, sorry. The synopsis literally calls him Rick Gladiator, which is actually very funny.
That's dude, Rick Gladiator. Holy
classic
shit, what a
example.
name.
A classic example of an isekai.
What's my name right now?
Having really funny names and
You
being-
want to change your name to?
My name's Bitch. I'm down to change it to Rick Gladiator.
I think we can do this for you. Anyway, I don't know. Do we have anything else?
No.
Okay. Then let's move on. This one's interesting. Am I doing this one?
Yeah, you are.
Okay, so this is Shoshimen series, or How to Become Ordinary. And the first thing I noticed about this trailer is it looks like a movie. I don't know how else to describe it, but like just the way that it is shot and the way that the cinematography is framed and the lighting, you don't usually see TV anime that look like this. It's very cinematic. This one is very mysterious, which tracks. I believe it is a mystery. That is the genre. The premise is apparently just that the two characters want to be normal. They want to live normal lives, but shit keeps happening to them that is not normal. And that's really all we got. And the trailer doesn't do a very good job of explaining what that is, which is fine. It's a mystery, and I don't want it all spoon-fed to me. But the sort of semi-mysterious premise and the very high production values in the trailer are enough to get me on board on this one. I think this one sounds kind of cool.
So this is by the Hyuga author.
That's what I thought. I didn't look this up.
And
That's what I thought. I thought
that
it was, yeah.
alone is enough to be like.
I was like,
gotta give it a
when
shot.
I was watching the trailer, I was like, is this the other book by the Hyuga guy? And I was right, because the main characters kind of remind me of the Hyuga
I feel
couple.
like I told you guys.
I think you did. I think I remember that. And so that tracks. That also makes me pretty excited. Hyuga's good. So I am definitely interested in
And
this
it's
one.
the studio from the Undeko Motor Force.
Which
Oh.
is another big fan of you guys. So.
very much.
Oh,
Season 2.
interesting.
Which would explain the wacky production values. I don't know who's directing it.
They also did Sozamai.
Um,
Oh.
the director has a bit of a mixed bag.
Do we want to talk about Neverland season 2?
No. He did season 1 though, and season 1's good. It might not have been
Yeah,
his
he
fault.
did both.
Yeah, I'm sure it's more like the production.
But either way, definitely interested, regardless of that slight stain on the record.
You guys watch Kimi to Boku, right? Oh, no, you guys didn't. No, you guys didn't.
I don't
Never
think I
mind.
did.
That was a nice one too, and he did that one as well.
But I think that is enough qualifiers to get us interested in this one. I don't know about the rest of y'all. I know Tim was looking forward to it, but are you in one?
Oh, I'm definitely in now. Like I was already like pretty in because like the like you said, like the production looks really interesting. Like the way it's shot like a movie, the whole mystery aspect of it all. Because like they don't say exactly what the mysteries are. So I'm like, what's the mystery? I want to know.
Yeah, for sure.
What's in the mystery box?
My only concern would be that it's retreading a little too hard on Hyoka, but I think it's going to be a little bit more serious just based on the vibes than Hyoka.
I haven't seen Hyoka, so
Yeah.
I got nothing to base that on.
That's kind of the whole premise of Hyoka, is that they're solving mysteries, but they're kind of like low key. That's like the vibe. Okay. Moving on to it's Yaoi o'clock. Logan, would you like to tell us?
Oh yeah, it's one of those days past the yaoi. So Tasagare out focus. The premise is that the two boys, they're roommates. One of them is gay and closeted. The other one is, well, I guess they're both gay and closeted. But one of them is has told his roommate that he's gay, but also that he's not allowed to tell other people that he's gay. And the other one is just realizing that he has feelings for his roommate. At the kind of the start of the manga. And I joke that I am the foremost yaoi expert on this podcast just because I have to read a lot of yaoi chapter 1s to do the pre-read. And this honestly feels like one of the better yaoi that I have had to read. It's still a little overly melodramatic, and the character art is occasionally janky, and I don't think that the point of view guy has much personality yet, but the actual pairing feels kind of natural. There's definitely a lot of yaoi I read where it feels like the two guys just hate each other or something at the start, and it's kind of weird that they're getting paired up. The exposition is pretty good. The art is totally solid when the characters aren't suffering from yaoi bone extending disease. I'm not gonna watch this, but I think if you're the kind of person to seek out seasonal yaoi, I think you might be really pleased with this. So I guess I can recommend it to a specific kind of person.
I'm just gonna echo what Logan said. This looks fine if you're into it, but I'm not into it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. This isn't your average yaoi bait. This is actual yaoi, advanced yaoi.
It's proper boys love yaoi. Yeah.
I feel like I've been watching anime seasonally for 10 years now, and I haven't seen an actual yaoi show other than
This
the
one-
Omniverse.
There's one.
Tons of
I don't
yaoi.
want to. You can't say things like that. There's
Really?
yes.
Well,
yes.
Like what?
Oh my
Sasaki
god.
Tsunoyano,
There's a million of them.
Given.
Of actual
Yuri on
illustration?
Ice.
Yes.
Oh, Yuri on Ice.
No,
Yeah.
no. I mean yes, but no. But I'm talking about actual full on.
What's that one? Ginger Romantica? Is that get an adaptation? Anyway, there's plenty of proper.
There's tons of actual yaoi.
Banana Fish is real yaoi too. There's.
What?
Yes, it is. We just didn't get far enough in it.
Okay. Well, I mean, but this is that proper romance, you know?
Yeah.
yes, there's lots of them. There's
But
lots of proper
One,
romances.
there's way more real yaoi romance than there are real Yuri romances.
Yes, I would agree with 100%.
Really?
Yes, it's a more
Huh.
popular genre. So it
Because I
gets
feel like I'm more aware of
adaptations.
more Yuri romances.
because
There
you
was
watch
the
them.
magician one that was last season that we talked about.
Yeah,
Well, the Omegaverse
The
one
30
is.
no, the 30-year-old magician. Remember
Yeah.
that one?
I do.
Oh my god, yeah.
Anyway,
That's real yaoi.
it's
There's
okay
tons
that
of
it's
real
not on your
yaoi.
radar, but don't say things like that.
I've actually seen a decent amount of yaoi. I might check this one out.
It looks good. It looks solid. I don't know if I'm gonna watch it just because it's not.
Yeah,
not
I mean,
really
I
my
got a
speed.
lot of shows on my plate now, so
Yeah. But
I'm fine missing
I
out
can
on
give
So
it
it.
much for a slow season. All right. Well, yeah, we can go.
All right,
What's
next
next?
up? Tasuketsu. What's the Japanese name? For some reason, I did not write down this one.
It doesn't have one.
Did I-
Just
Awesome.
don't
Give
get
you
right now.
this?
There's not
Oh,
very
this is
much.
the death game one. Okay.
Yeah, it's the edgy death game show of the season. I feel like it hasn't happened in a while.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
I thought we were free.
I think the last one was the bad CG one 2 seasons ago.
yeah,
with the
Kamarabi.
Yeah, that's what it's called.
What about
I mean,
Tomodachi game? Was
That was
before?
much longer.
That,
ago.
that's almost 2 years ago at this point. I think.
Anyway,
Was it real? Damn.
anyway.
But yeah, it's edgy death game. I don't think there's much to say on this other than edgy death game. Sure, they get powers and they try to kill each other. They try to survive. I think they get asked a question on their phone and then the majority is killed out, which is crazy. I don't know how that works. I don't know, man. This doesn't look great.
Yeah, this looks like a mid-budget death game anime, and has there ever been a good mid-budget death game anime? Probably not.
This reminds me of that one pack game that we played, the Unpopular Opinion.
Oh, from
Split the
Jackbox.
room.
Yeah, that one.
Split the room.
That's really
What if
funny.
Jackbox
That's
killed
what it
you?
reminds me. We took
I
that
would
and made it
watch
into a
that.
death game.
I would
That's
watch that.
It's like what this is.
I have a
The
feeling that
man
this won't
who
be
was
very good.
quipped to death.
Oh no. Yeah, when you get no votes in Quiplash, you fucking die. Anyway, we don't have to talk about this anymore. Okay, next up is the last PA Works show.
So this one, knowing nothing about the game that this is based off, because this is based off of a video game. The show seems to follow our main character, who is a goddess, Sakuna, who as she tries to grow rice and protect the land from demons. So that's basically what I got out of the synopsis and the trailer. It is definitely the most action-oriented of the three PA Works, and the animation seems to hold up, and it looks decent enough where I would actually be willing to give a video game adaptation an episode 2 and see what's like, despite it being a video game and having a very bad track record in the past. It also helps that it's the same director as the Eccentric Family, which this seems kind of like a weird enough premise where like it would actually play to his favor. So it actually might be good, despite like all the other things it has going against it. So I'm probably gonna give it a try. I don't know what you guys think about it though.
I think that the poster's not doing it any favors, and it very much looks like a video game adaptation, but the trailer was like fine. I don't know. It's hard to tell what this is going to be about. And I also am inherently worried about the small girl child main character. That is sometimes a recipe for disaster. And so I think it will kind of make or break how obnoxious the main character is. I am at least down to check it out because it seems to be an interesting design. I don't know. It's hard to tell on this one, honestly. Game adaptations are a little weird.
They're very iffy. Like, I don't remember the last time we had a good game adaptation. But, like, despite all that, it seems to look decent enough and have enough potential that
it works. Like, I don't think they've put out, like, anything, like, bad quality visual wise.
The lip seems to not always match all the times. Maybe that's just me, but it kind of bugs me a little. But that's like a very minor complaint. I just don't know what the show's about, because all I see is half the PV is her like planting rice, and half the PV is her fighting weird demon things, and I'm like,
I mean, like, from what I could
How much
understand
hours
from like the game itself, like I think it's like an Animal Crossing kind of game. So like it's just like a farming simulator.
how do you make that into an anime?
That's what we're trying to find out. I mean, like Animal Crossing got an anime movie a long time ago.
Did it?
Yeah,
It did.
It does. It has. I have never watched it.
I did. I watched it when I was a kid.
We're so off topic.
But yeah, Eccentric Family Director, you know, he's back
Yeah, that's
after
cool.
like 10 years. You know, it's might be
Yeah, in my
something
notes, I say like I'm personally not that interested. If Tim says it's that heat, I'll check it out.
Yeah, this is gonna require. I need more
guess
Some
information.
additional scouting.
I'll take the sacrifice for us, I guess.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Who's talking about this one?
This is another one that Tim auto assigned to me.
I mean, you're probably
Do
gonna
you want
watch
Chris
it.
to talk about it?
Yeah, I feel like you're gonna watch it, so might as well.
I hate that I'm being typecasted as this.
But it's true.
I mean, admittedly, yes,
myself.
this is more in my wheelhouse than the Twins show, but like, I have a lot on my plate this season, so like, this is very low on my priority list. It is like the plot of this show. It is a tsundere who, whenever she is flirting with the main character, she does it in Russian. But like the twist is, the guy understands Russian, but he keeps that a secret. So he understands the flirting this entire time.
Which defeats the entire point of the entire show, and it frustrates me to no end. I'll be completely honest, because they should already be dating, and it's like, why would I even watch this at that point? You know what I mean? And the answer is, it's because the girl design is cute, and people like the girl design. It's one of those shows.
Like that is literally the only thing like going for me is that
It's
the
cute
girl
girl
is
mascot
cute.
character, and she's got a quirk that she's Russian, and so people are gonna like listen to her to speak Russian. And I think that's hot, and that's it. That's all
it.
there is.
That's all there is.
I don't know. This one is I would say, higher profile show. It's got a very high member count despite the season not coming out. I was aware of this show going into the season. I'd heard about it. People are excited for it for some reason. This looks terrible. I don't know why I would ever watch this. Sad to see Doga Kobo work on a show like this when they could be making.
Oh, it's Doga Kobo? Oh my god.
I mean, they make stuff like this. It's not.
They do, but like they also have like good quality.
Yeah.
Like, didn't they make Oshinoko?
They did.
And they're doing that season 2
They did
as well.
Jellyfish, and they're doing season 2. And
I hope they're not spread too thin.
That's fine. This was supposed to come out last season.
Oh, but it got delayed.
It got delayed to this season. It was supposed to be, yeah.
All right, we can move on.
I'm not too worried about them overburdening themselves just because they seem to be competent enough to know when to delay when needed.
Yeah.
Instead of forcing the schedule, unlike some studios.
I have a feeling that she's going to be a seasonal meme girl, and people will be talking about this show, but that does not mean that it's good.
I think Shikanoko will take that spot.
I hope so. Okay, next up is the last manga on the list.
All right. Tsue no Tsurugi no Wistoria, which I believe translates to something like Wistoria of Wand and Sword or something like that. It's Wand Sword Wistoria. That's all that's really important. Anyway, welcome to Magic High School. It looks like they all do. In fact, everything looks like every other manga. You could find this exact outlining and shading style in about 15 other manga getting anime adaptations this year. And I promise you, these environments were stolen directly from every other fantasy manga made in the last 5 years. The guys in charge of the school, or maybe society, are almost certainly evil somehow, but we're going to pretend that they're not for a while, and when it's time for the reveal, we're definitely going to act like it's a twist, and not just how these things always go these days. Now meet your main character. He sucks and he can't do any magic, but don't worry, he's actually rules and he's the best in the world at swords, so it's not like he has to improve or learn to do anything. The fact that he's inhumanly fast and strong, especially for his age and size, well, that's not magic, obviously. That's just being good at swords, which are capable of cleaving a monster cleanly in twain in exactly the same way that they always die in fantasy manga. He made a promise with his childhood friend. How cute. She's way better than him now, but only on a technicality. She's also hanging out with the probably evil guys. We can pretend that they'll get to have a beautiful reunion. We'll tell you a lot of this in a flashback, placed at the same part of the first chapter that these flashbacks always are, or as you already know style exposition. The visuals during these flashbacks are going to be painfully literal, obviously, except for one page where we do some old-timey tapestry visuals so we can disrupt the narratives of internet nerds trying to make fun of us on their podcasts. There's a dungeon. Where that dungeon is, or how it fits into the world, is more of a Chapter 2 problem, or maybe a Chapter Never problem, because right now we're mostly interested in using it to put helpful numbers on everything. See, if we say, this monster belongs on a higher floor, it's too high level for asshole noble guy to fight, then we can prove that the MC who kills him in one hit is mathematically badass. We don't have to do any of the hard work of building up our stock feral demon guy before we job him out to the main character, because the numbers do it for us. Oh, and you already know that we're doing a dramatic title drop at the end of the first chapter. There's no need to tell you that even, really. I just hate to use generic as the first and last criticism of something, but like, how do you describe a smooth white sphere in more than 3 words? Like, this is slop, in the sense that if you poured it into a trough with a dozen other fantasy anime, you could not tell which bits are Wistoria and which bits were anything else.
Go ahead.
So,
I don't recommend this.
It's funny you say that, because you guys might not know this, but the very popular shonen show Black Clover also witnesses a guy who is the only one who can't use magic, gets a giant black sword, and becomes super buff physically, and Ames becomes the best. And that sounds very beat to beat like this show.
You know what else it sounds like? Mashal. A show that takes place in a magic school with a character who can't do magic but is very physically strong. But that's played for comedy and is also not very good.
Dude, I want you to know that my notes were just, this is just Mashal if it took it so seriously the entire time. That is all my notes.
And also was made for an audience of 14-year-olds. I will say that section about the dungeon existing only to assign a high number to a monster so the main character could kill it is one of the more damning things I've ever heard about a bad show. That is, yeah.
I mean, look, I will be fair to this and say that maybe there is a reason that dungeons exist in this universe and they just didn't have the page space. Except I'm being too fair because everything else that they put in the chapter is super bland and generic, and they could have just cut some of it to explain
I think
that.
it's that the author is not a very good writer.
Okay,
I don't
this
care
is
about
the
this.
author of Danmachi.
Oh my god.
I kept that in my pocket. I didn't say a word about it until we all already hated it.
Wow.
This seems like a downgrade. I'm gonna be real. Danmachi has some charm to it. Like, this is nothing. The production values look fine, for the record, and I have a feeling like someone's going to try to convince me that this is watchable, but I don't believe it. Yeah, I'm good. I don't care.
Yeah, no,
Every season
biggest
there's like
skip
an
of my
anime.
life.
Every season there's just a show that I just start randomly seeing read on, and I just keep typing criticism, and I feel a little bad that Wistoria was this one because it was better than some of the
Yeah,
shows
this is
that
passable,
I didn't
but-
write whole paragraphs about, but it didn't make me it made me much angrier than all of those shows, and I don't really know why.
Yeah. All right.
That being said, this is actually the one that all the Sakuga people are.
No
clamoring
way,
about
bro.
this
That's
season.
Yeah, I
fucking
saw that
insane.
on Mal, like, top Sakuga anime of this season.
Well, I'll believe it when I see it. Anyway,
There's a couple. Of
I don't give a
TV
shit
that
if it
was
doesn't
like,
have Sakuga.
you know, it looks kind of right, but this is apparently the one that's going to be all Sakuga.
sure, man. Okay, VTuber Legends. Who's taking this one?
I think I am.
Yeah, this is Tim.
All
Say the
right,
whole name.
VTuber Nandaga Haishin Kiri Watuetaru Densetsu ni Nateta.
In the English name?
I don't have it written down.
I got it.
Okay, go on, go.
VTuber Legend, how I went viral after forgetting to turn off my stream. All right, now you go.
Yes, the title basically says it all. The premise of it is we're following this VTuber whose character is very proper and like, you know, but one day she actually forgot to turn off her stream and they hear her being crude and rowdy, but it ends up they love it, so it doesn't even matter. So she ends up embracing her new rowdy character and goes on a bunch of wacky hijinks with her fellow VTuber friends. The PV seems incredibly meh. I like that they actually use like actual VTube models, which is like kind of neat nod, but it's like what catches my eye is that it's Studio TNK that's doing this, who has done basically exclusively ecchi garbage for the past like 5 years. Some notable ones being Juan's favorite anime, Futuko no Guild, High School DxD, and Redo of Healer. That being said, this show does not seem that ecchi, despite everything it has going for it. So I don't know why the studio is doing it. I don't really know. I don't really think I can recommend this to anyone, but maybe give it to one, and maybe it would be like secret ecchi garbage that he will love. But yeah, it's just.
Is this ecchi? Like, I thought this was
not.
just like.
It doesn't
what
seem
I say?
ecchi, but the studio is the ecchi studio. Like,
I mean, like
they
could just not do ecchi with the show.
They haven't done ecchi.
No,
Like, not
does it
done
have
ecchi.
It
Doesn't.
It doesn't have the tag for ecchi. Like, it's just comedy.
I just don't know why the studio's doing it. The director's also the ecchi director.
They're taking a break to make a VTube anime where they make it about VTubers.
Anyways, that's all I have. Is I don't know why the studio's doing it, and this seems pretty. The PV gave me no information. It's just a bunch of like.
Let me
YouTubers
give a bit more of the
doing-
premise, just so that if anyone cares. Basically, she's a cute, wholesome VTuber, and then she turns her stream off, cracks open a beer, and says some crude jokes and watches some videos. But everyone actually secretly likes her drunken and rowdy self, and so she becomes wildly popular. Because obviously, why would that not be wildly popular? I don't
Is
care.
that not what I said?
Is that what you said?
That's what I said in
I
the
don't
beginning.
remember. Okay, I can cut that.
We
Then.
start podcasting drunk. Is that the secret to e-fame?
Maybe.
Maybe we should all get drunk when we do these
See,
podcasts.
I've gotten drunk when we do the awards, and that usually doesn't go very well. So,
Well, that's
really
because
doesn't.
only one person's drunk. If all of us are drunk, it'll be entertaining.
There we go.
Logan
That's
is
the
a
secret,
drink.
baby.
Logan's gotta have to drink now.
Oh no.
Logan, we're gonna have to spike your drink. We're
Yeah.
gonna spike your cider.
I would spike it for you.
Like, just hook it up to my veins. I won't have to taste it that way.
There we go. Anyway, I don't care about this at all.
I
don't,
think
I'm not,
this looks really fun.
I'm not into VTubers.
I am.
Go for it then. I
can't believe this is gonna be like an Ecchi Bros show.
I highly doubt this.
Like
will
Tim,
be
you're
good.
you're gonna watch this, right?
There's so many shows that could be potential Ecchi Bros. We gotta narrow it down. We'll talk
It's probably
later.
not gonna be Elf just because of the production values.
You don't feel
Thank
obligated.
God. Okay. I was not a fan of Alf.
Okay.
Read the manga. The manga's great.
I'm also not a fan of the manga.
Unbelievable.
Too
I
bad.
can't shake your hand. I'm sorry.
Ecchi Bros is canceled.
Ecchi Bros is over forever. Okay.
Yeah.
And with that, we have gotten through all of the summer anime. That took a while. There was a lot. So now let's narrow it down. Let's get a top 3. What are we the most excited about?
Ah man, I know the top 3 comes and I always forget to like write them down. So I'm gonna reread my notes real quick because like I know for sure that I wrote down like, oh, I'm checking this out for sure. Like this is definitely like something that I really want to watch. Okay, Mayonaka Punch, for sure. I want to say Shikanoko, but like I feel like everyone's gonna say Shikanoko. Nah, I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say Shikanoko because
Okay.
god damn it, dude, that's one of the best. Fucking, if I can be convinced from a PV within like the first 5 seconds, you got that's
Yeah.
it. And then last up, I want to do what was it? Come Back to Me.
Oh my god. He can't even come up with a third one. Okay. I am gonna go ahead and say mine are Mayonaka Punch, then Senpai wo Otokonoko, whatever that one is, Senpai wa Otokonoko, and I'll say Isekai Suicide Squad. Maybe it'll be great. Why not?
Logan, it's
All
your turn.
right. Yeah, it's me. So I'm gonna go with Shikanoko Noko Noko Koshi Tantan, which I didn't get to say all the way through the first time. Then I'm gonna give a tentative bit of love to Shoshimen series, which sounds
Oh,
like it
never
might be
mind.
cool.
Replace that with Suicide Squad with that one. I forgot about
Okay,
that.
cool. And then I'm gonna give an extremely tentative, what's it called? Check mark to Nige Jozu no Wakagimi. Despite the fact that I straight up did not recommend it. I am not thrilled about this season.
True.
Man. All right. 3 shows I'm looking forward to, not including sequels.
I found my third.
What is it?
I'll add it in last.
Mayonaka Punch, Shoshimen series, and Ginmai Seikatsu.
All right. What about you, Juan?
My third is Maka Heroine ga Osiguru, or the Two of Many Losing Heroines. I think that show's gonna be fun.
Oh yeah, that one could
That one
potentially-
was like 5th on my list. I
has
think.
potential. All right. And that about does it from us. Those are our thoughts on all of the premiering anime of the summer season. Catch us next time as we wrap up spring. And let me tell you, that episode is going to be a banger because a lot of the shows from the spring are bangers. Great season. Excited to talk about it. But until then, I think that's about all we got. So we will see y'all later.
Next time, bye.